Let's see if I get a copyright infringement claim. Yes, I'm ready to go live as soon as this issue is resolved, so hopefully it's momentarily. Let's see what I can play in the meantime.
Okay, Brian, thank you so much for hanging there. I appreciate your patience here. So, okay, I've got this.
1 second. Hello. All right. Let's see. Something is going on with my mouse. Something is going on with my phone. Okay. That glitch appears to be gone. Well, that's good. Let's start the show, shall we? Let's do that.
your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
Good morning, everybody. Wow, how interesting. And now the camera is not cameraing. That is wild. What a series of events. Thanks for joining us today. I'm restarting all of these devices. We have had a strange morning. And yeah, I was, as I mentioned before, what I'm going to aim at moving forward is when I set the time for the show, let's try to expect like a sharp beginning at the time, whatever it is that's set in advance. For a while, I wasn't really setting times in advance and giving a lot of notice. I was just popping on when I was ready. I'm trying to like send out the beacon of like, hey, everyone get your shit together. All right, 20 minutes, people. We're going live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Easter egg question of the day. What is that from? We'll do it live. One of the greatest moments in broadcast history. It's just because everything's so fucking fake. Everything is so ultra processed. Delivered by the news robot. I hope you're having a great day. Let's tell you about what's been happening in Lebanon. You're like, And it's a play. It's a screenplay. It's a version of the way we're supposed to process the thing. But that's not like the thing. That version of reality is sometimes that version of reality, and sometimes it's not. So there's a lot that we're sifting through, and I have been trying to lock into this noon thing. And really, that was like a 40-minute on hold. I was ready to go at a super prompt time, but yeah, and if it needs to change, I'll set it up and just give a 2-hour notice, like, hey, or 12-hour notice, or the day in advance, maybe get it set up and just be like, oh, the time will be different today. So anyway, I'm working through it because, it's fun to know when to expect your favorite programming. I Coast to Coast AM would be my lullaby. I moved out to Los Angeles, and man. Yeah, but expecting like at 10 p.m. on the West Coast, that show would be on, whether it was there was Art Bell, George Norrie, John B. Wells, Ian Punnett. Yeah, I knew that between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., like there was going to be something cool, something worth listening to. And yeah, I've had a somewhat floating schedule, but I think I'm going to start locking it into something. And it may be evenings, but just I will keep you posted as those decisions are made. But yeah, the noon thing is temporarily working. And I'm like, well, let's try to lock in on it. But I'll keep you posted and let you know when we're going to do our strictly football show. Oh, that's real small on the screen here. I got to talk to Mike. Oh, let me take this chat off the screen. Yeah, it was just weird today. All of my buttons weren't working. My devices weren't working. I was on hold for half of an hour. But yeah, I'll see what day works best. I think we were doing it. What were we doing it Thursdays at 3 or something, or 5? I think my suggestion will be to do it on Monday. I don't know if that would work for him, but I just feel like that'll be the time when most people will be wanting to talk about all of the games right after they all happen. Gives us a little bit of time to process. I didn't mind doing it later in the week because it gave me more time to catch up on it. Because, what type of aficionado of the game of football are we? Are we overdoing it? Are we underdoing it? It's a fine line. Are you an expert? Are you a fan? End of the day, we're just trying to make sense of it all, I guess. And that's what we do here. Thank you for being here at, there we go, the TNAM Daily Show back there. The TNAM Daily Show here on the new American media, because the old American media has failed you. On today's show, we're going to talk about nobody believing the Epstein story. So what's up? What's up? What's up? That's all anybody wants to talk about, so let's talk about it. And if you have any stories you want me to share, go ahead and tag us on X. That will probably be one of the best ways for us to see things, and sometimes we can share those. And then in us resharing them, we can talk about them on the show. So at the bottom of the screen here, please make sure you're following the New American Media on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, DLive, and YouTube. Just search the New American Media, hit subscribe. We have about 2,000 videos, millions of views. I don't know. It's 2,000 videos. Like there's just a lot of content floating around out there. So if you're new to the program, just look around, look at some of the top ranked episodes, and then just scroll through, and there's a legacy of interesting conversations with interesting people. But yeah, it's never been more important that you follow us on multiple platforms. Rumble is one of our favorite places. They have Rumble rants where you tap it and it's like you throw $1 on the screen and it highlights a post. Those donations are awesome. And then we do make monthly, or actually we get daily ad revenue if the ads play there. So that's pretty cool. Rumble is what YouTube used to be. I'm old enough to remember when YouTube was cool. Google really sunk their deep state talons into it. And they wanted only authoritative sources. Yeah. Their mouthpieces, their propaganda apparatuses. We know what they wanted. That's why people stopped watching them. Come on. Read the room. Here, read the room. Here we are. We're entering a new negotiation. Cards up. Flip your cards up. A new negotiation is about to occur. That's literally what is occurring all across the globe. Is it possible that President Trump, who is currently negotiating with every country on the globe, tyrants and dictators and monsters and civil rights abusers, and honestly look into the closets of any one of these people, any one of these organizations, companies, countries, really, what's the difference? It's all blurred together. There's a lot of bad things going on. So, how much do we need to get hung up on focusing on all the areas that I'm not a fan of you? I don't like you. I don't respect you. Your country's doing things incorrectly. And maybe say your piece and say, what I would really like is to see you change how you're handling these issues. Because philosophically, it's hard for me to want to trade with you if you're going to throw someone in jail for a Facebook post or something stupid. J.D. Vance has been talking about the UK and just Europe in general, what's been happening. It's been a couple decades of a really interesting plan. And you're watching it play out. And it's important. It's worth thinking about. It's worth talking about. It's worth figuring out. I guess end of the day, that's it. It's worth figuring out. So that's why we do what we do, and that's why we've been banned the way that we have been. It's no fun being the tip of the spear. It's is what it is. In the year 2000. Yeah. Well, it was. Don't you remember how awesome Google used to be? In the year 2005. In the year 2005. Anyway, thanks for being here, everybody. Let me see what I got for you today. Let's unpack the news. What do we want to talk about? Tag us and show us what you want to talk about. Everybody talking about this. That's all anybody want to talk about. You so crazy. If you want to talk about this, that's so 2000. In the year 2000. Rumble is your morning routine. All right. Here's Charlie Kirk and Megyn Kelly down at Turning Point USA, Tampa, Florida. All the cool kids are there talking about one story. I mean, how could they not?
Is Bongino? It's Bongino or Bondi. He's not.
Who would you guys prefer, Bongino or Bondi? Okay, 7,000 to 0.
They want Dan. Of course, Dan. You know why? Because Dan understands MAGA. Dan's part of the MAGA movement. Dan's been an important piece of it and a mouthpiece for like really important ideas and an advocate and a fierce warrior. He's been in the trenches. I mean, with all due respect to Pam Bondi, she's been in Florida. She represented the president. It's nice, but do you think she really gets MAGA? I don't think so. She wouldn't have behaved this way if she did. And now it's a time for choosing. It's a time for choosing. Reporting is Bongino. It's Bongino or Bondi.
So, yeah, this. I'm going to type in the comments. This isn't even a question. Bondi has been a pure disaster. And it's time for Gates to step in and drop the hammer. How about that? I thought it was really weird when Matt Gaetz, he was nominated, then he wasn't. And he said, he had to pay an account, and then I went to the girl. I don't know. It was weird when why even go through the process if it was going to end up that way? Or was that just something that was already disproven? Like whatever. What are we doing? This is an insane witch hunt here. But the process is the penalty. You know, in many cases, the process, the frustration or the time or the money or that ends up becoming the penalty. And when you have unlimited resources, you just lean. You just gently lean. You know, eventually you're in no hurry. You just lean. Maybe it's always been that way in society, but you know, there's a way to organize this. Everybody turn your cards up. Everyone, cards up. So you're telling me a president that's negotiating every country on earth couldn't be negotiating with the powers that be that used to run the deep state? You're telling me that they couldn't also be negotiating? Cards up. Cards up. Here's what we got. How are we going to resolve this? We're going to talk about how we're going to resolve it. Sit down. Sit up. Sit down. I said sit down. Is that possible? Is that likely? Judging from the slunched body language, I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling like you got someone who's had their ear twisted, metaphorically. In Trump's case, literally. You know, how bad is this stuff? How bad are these things? How deep does this go? And, you know, the problem is, if you want to know, you got to find out, you know? But we find ourselves in this mess. I don't think any of us asked for this. I don't want to be having to sort through this stuff. But it's greed, it's power, it's control, it's dominance, it's all sorts of pressures and angles. It's like everyone's playing a game of gotcha. I want this land. I want this real estate. I want this country. I want this. I want this. I want this. Right? And that's what happened in Europe, a mass migration. That's what happened in the United States, a mass colonization through Barack Obama, the Democrat Party, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the border czar, don't you know? You know, the lady the Democrats put up is to run for president, even though she got 0 delegate votes. After 2020 was completely cooked. According to some people, go to CISA.gov/rumor control for countervailing views on health and elections. It's scrolling at the bottom of your screen. For countervailing views on health and elections, go to cdc.gov, who.int, and CISA.gov/rumor control. Because they'll tell you that 2020 was a full, free, and fair election. It was actually the only free and fair election. The rest are probably rigged. In the years we lose. But Kamala Harris was put up there as someone to run for president with 0 delegate votes, but then you see Biden, it's like 81 million. You think that defeated the second MAGA term as the Democrats burned America down in their summer of love, their coordinated chaos, their attempt to overthrow this nation, to take it over, to wrestle power away in a coup, just clawing into various locations in the country. Kind of weird. So, yeah, who is clawing for power right now? Does Pam Bondi have any chance? Was the Dan Bongino thing blown out of proportion? I don't know, but it's a fallout for many things going on, and I want to talk about a lot of things. New York Post here. Take a look on the screen. Are you following her yet? This sexy influencer has taken Wimbledon by storm, leaving athletes drooling. But there's a big catch. Did you know that? There's a big catch. What do you think the catch is? Anybody in the comments? Oh, hello, comments. G-Note. I knew a dude named C-Note. What up, C-Note? Hey. Oh, man, C-Note. Kenneth said, call me a hope dope, but I remain optimistic. All right. Yeah, no, look, I know how this could all go horribly wrong, and that, we'll talk about it. But also, it's like I'm hoping that, hey, what's the best scenario we could imagine? What's the most entertaining, most awesome scenario that could come from this? You're like, what would be the most awesome? And it would take a while, but if you could lay the traps and really get them figured out, you could take out the entire deep state. Actually, you could take out the entire NWO. The previous puppet masters behind this, the scenes causing the chaos and moving the chess pieces on the board. Yeah, put your cards up, everybody. Cards up. What are the next steps? How does this work where Americans are going to live a great experience? We're going to get to kind of take control of our country again and shape it and protect the people inside from Lord knows who, from Lord knows where, with Lord knows what intentions. That's not any particular place in general. It's just anywhere. You want to screen your, how about your rainwater catch system? You want to filter it. You want to screen it before it goes into the tank, right? It's not a lot to say no. We have a bouncer at our country. You check your paperwork. We're going to make sure. Like, are you here? Are you some sort of monster that really has no business being here? You're not entitled to just walk in our front door. No thanks. There've been far too many cases of this. And it's been frustrating for me to watch. because I've worked in live events long enough. All you got to, you just filter. So anyway, trying to figure this stuff out and trying to make this country great. And look, also, I don't think we should be destroying anybody else just so we can selfishly do better. There's a common ground. There's a way to build things that work for everybody, as long as the top isn't taking too much. And then that conversation gets into communism and socialism, and there's ways to sort through some of these questions. And artificial intelligence is quickly becoming a part of it. Are there too many humans? That's the huge part of the green climate cult that we don't talk about very much, but it's a eugenics cult. It is the Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger. It is the sterilization and low testosterone and low egg count and low sperm count and low birth rate and higher percentage of aborted families, and everything gets more expensive, and who wants to take on extra responsibility, both monetarily, and it just gets harder and harder to keep going. That's what this inflationary situation has caused. That's what the giant sucking sound of NAFTA has caused. That's what global wars on terror have caused. Look at the debt spiral since 9/11. Look at what happened since 2000, 2001. I mean, I don't know what there's no formula where this works. Cards up, everyone. Cards up. All right. You reset you shuffle the deck again. You dish out, you count out the cards, and you restart the game. All right. That's like what we're on the verge of doing as a nation. It's just flipping our cards up. So yeah, I mean, are there too many humans on Earth, and does AI need so many people? And technology can be good, technology can be bad. I'm sure it has the possibility of being both, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But it's better to be hopeful. I certainly agree. I try to be funny. Vibe check. When you start talking about certain issues, you go down certain rabbit holes. You don't have to go under every time, but I think promoting a certain level of humanity it's a pretty decent place to start for a list of asks, I think. Nick, I subscribed on Patreon, my first Patreon subscription. Nick, my dude, I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Nick didn't say it, but I'm assuming he subscribed to the $10,000 monthly tier. Thank you, Nick. We appreciate you. I think I did set one of those up. You can do 1,000, 100, 10 or 15 or 5. It's all cool, and it's all appreciated. It's $60 a year, and they take their fees. I don't know, call it $10, $50 a year. It's like that handles something. There's some filing fee, it all adds up to how many subscriptions do I need to pay for the year of, was it $700, $800 for Restream? So it's like 70 a month or 50, something like that. You know what? Like 1 or 2 subscriptions on Patreon. It's like, hey, the operating cost for Restream, that's covered, and they take their fees out, so it's less than that, but 95% of it. And that's what we're building, a PBS here, made for viewers like you. Ding. Made for viewers like you. Act now and get a tote bag. But yeah, that like all of these things, there's different and then like to operate our X account, it's like $130 a year. It's like, okay, so if I get 3 subscribers, our X account is covered. Okay, great. So it's like then the operating expenses start to, you go, okay, now it does not cost money to do these things. Now we're starting to build a foundation here. Okay, this is part of the package that's been put together and it's been funded. And that's how this goes. And it's been, you know, I do lovingly refer to the New American Media as a 14-year beta test, because it has been. I have offered snapshots into documentaries, Man on the Street, fucking some of the best videography you're ever going to see from January 6th. Look at the video footage we shot at the gates of Mordor at the final battle scene when the stormtroopers regained control of the castle. I just went out to see what was going on. I did a Man on the Street in the morning, at the beginning of the day. And then walked down and saw that mostly peaceful protest. So yeah, I mean, I've given snapshots of who I am and what I do and what I'm looking for to build a team of people to do. And it's like, when we do get people drop in, it's like, hey, I'll sign up for $1,000 a month. All right, well, somebody out there has more money than time. I can trade my time, but I also, you know, I have to either go acquire the means to pay for my months of time or not. So like it all matters. But if there's enough sponsors, then we can hire someone to go do some of these things as part of our network, our team. It all starts building outward. Yeah, I mean, as soon as we can. Yeah, there's freelance stringers, videographers. I mean, I sort of went on the circuit to DC, to the Bronx, to Chicago, to Milwaukee, DC again. There's whole ecosystems of stuff going on. It's very interesting behind the scenes. But yeah, to have the ability to hire a journalist to go share an Airbnb with a group of people in a city for a week to cover a thing, that, you know, we have 10 times more viewers next week. We have 1,000 times more viewers in 2 weeks. 10,000 times more viewers in a month. I don't know. If it's a place to get together and have interesting conversations and have fun and learn and just hang out and something that can be on in the background while you're like, yeah, I don't know, I'll put it on, I'll leave it on, I'll put it on, leave it on, put it on, leave it on. I feel like I was starting to auction cattle. Yeah, but it's a hangout spot. That's all the cool kids hang out here. This is the cool kid cafeteria. All the cool kids hang out here. You're not cool unless you pee your pants. Easter egg of the day. Type in the comments, what is that from? You're not cool unless. Nick Atoms on Rumble. What's up, Nick Atoms on Rumble? Yeah, Rumble is cool, like I said. Advertisements and the super chats or the Rumble rants. I don't know why YouTube took off our monetization and they took off our donations, like our subscriptions and stuff. But, well, I mean, I know why. They didn't like the stories we were covering. And they've severely throttled our content from reaching our audience. It's a very frustrating platform. In ways, I feel like I should just completely start a new channel. And in a way I have, like, that's what Rumble is. Like, we're getting off the ship of YouTube because it's trash. It just is. I mean, hasn't Steven Crowder or at least maybe he doesn't do live streams on there anymore, just Rumble. But, you know, like I said, like, there's people that have figured out the ways to monetize this. Like, I just got to get my mug club together. That's what these should be. Let's turn these into that. Let's move these as like a mug club. Kenneth has some of those. All right, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, but Nick was saying he wasn't sure if there was a stream today. Yep. Sometimes I try to fly through these Saturday shows, and I probably should keep it feisty today. All right. But thank you, Nick. Appreciate you. Nick's show will be debuting soon, and he will keep you posted when that is. Okay, let's take a look at this sexy influencer who takes Wimbledon by storm, leaving athletes drooling. What is the big catch? Kenneth says, a hot dog, perhaps? Oh, no, a hot dude? Oh, a hot dude. I read a hot dog. Well, I mean, isn't that exactly the same? Nick knows. She's fake. Yeah, AI influencers. Oh, where's the gallery? Look there at Wimbledon. So, oh, here, let me screenshot this. So this is where we're at with AI now. She's drinking a bottle of, what's that say? Gazpacho? Abracadabra? It's like AI generated gibberish language. AI is fake. Let's see what that coffee cup says. It says CCFIFT. So it's done. We're cooked on a visual level. Like you can still, around the edges, you can see. You know that this is this isn't quite accurate. I mean, we're not very far off. Can't have music, but there's movement. Yeah, that's what we do now. Everyone be aware that this is the realm that we've entered. I think they were just trying to stall Epstein long enough so that they could claim everybody in the video is an AI. Have you ever heard someone say that out loud before? If that's the case, so be it. And I'd be curious. Is that something you could ask Grok? I don't know that I'd even get credit for saying it. I don't even know that I'm on Grok's radar. I've said it 100 times over the years, though. Yeah, they're just dragging it out so they could say, video. What video? Then you go, plausible deniability. This AI is getting really good really fast, and a lot of the smart people are worried about it. So what does that mean? Kenneth, tell us about the dinar. Tell us about the dinar, because I feel like that might be something that people would be curious about. Yep, Kenneth got it. Billy Madison, you're not cool unless you pee your pants. There's a new Happy Gilmore coming out. I admit to being very excited about this. Very surprised it's taken this long, honestly. Top of the morning to you, Unholy Hoax, from down there in San Antonio, Texas. Hey, Unholy Hoax, what is the latest? Your Texan buddies, do they feel as though these floods are natural phenomena or geoengineering gone awry, or a biological attack from the Chinese or the Mexican mafia or the Ukrainians or the Russians or the Israelis or the Palestinians or the Iranians? You see, like, it's a battle royal going on right now, everybody. It is a tug of war and a renegotiation with every country everywhere. Is it possible that President Trump is negotiating with everybody on these lists? Or is he doing the bidding of whoever Epstein worked for? Who might that be? Who is it that Jeffrey Epstein might have worked for? So, Unholy Hoax, What is the weather like down there? What are people saying about it? Is that even fair to say? Like, it's not like, oh, you're from Texas? Do you know Jimmy? I would get that in California a fair bit. Oh, dude, you're from Ohio? Dude, my old roommate was from Ohio. His name's John. From Ohio. John Johnson. Do you know John from Ohio? You know, we have like the 6th most electoral college votes. Like, it's a very big place with a lot of big cities. Like, what are we? Cincinnati, Cleveland, Dayton, Youngstown, Cleveland. Did I say Cleveland? Columbus, Toledo, Akron. Do you know? Oh, John. Do you know John Johnson from Ohio? I don't know. It's just kind of funny to me. Unholy hoax. Hey, so you're from Texas. What's Texas thinking? Tell me what Texas has to say. Hit me with the unholy. You're in Texas, right? All right. So tell me, what's Texas think? Tell me. Huh? It's a useful question. And what I do mean is, like, you've had 50 conversations in the past couple. What's the general vibe that you're getting? What is your gut telling you? It's also the stupidest question ever. Unholy, tell me about Texas. What do they say about chemtrails? Go on now. No, hurry up. I'm trying to keep it quick. Get it down. Go on now. But yes, unholy hoax. What is the general vibe in Texas? Good to see you today. Unholy hoax. How's Texas doing? You know Tex? That was great writing in Forrest Gump, where it's like there was Dallas from Cleveland, there's Tex from, and they all had names from different cities. Just, I don't know, it was fun writing. Nick says AI became indistinguishable as soon as they were ready to release the Epstein video. So I love about rappers when they change the cadence and they really try different flows. Harry Mack talks about that being like a jazz drummer. There's so like he can kind of talk about it, like when it's becoming to kick the lyrics. Sorry, I was reading that weird. AI became indistinct, and it happened because indistinguishable. That's a 6-syllable word. There's not a lot of 6-syllable words that we commonly mention. Throughout the rest of the show, if you notice a 6-syllable word, type it, throw it in the comments. Any 6-syllable, I'm saying syllable intentionally, by the way. AI became indistinguishable as soon as they were ready to release the Epstein video. I was fully expecting an AI video when Cash said there is video. Yeah. Nick, I asked Grok 3, how can I use Grok 4? And it told me, I see no evidence that Grok 4 exists, intentionally deceiving me. Yeah. Well, it's been a good ride. Love you guys. AI killed the radio star. AI killed the video star. In my mind, in my car. The hell? Just power off? Why did that power off? Weird day with devices, I'm telling you. Weird day with devices. Try that again. There we go. So yeah, AI girlfriends, AI influencers. Look, this is the world that we're in. Where do we go now? Where do we go? Where do we go now? Where do we go? No, 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 no. I'm telling everybody on Facebook to join us live. That was something I neglected to do at the beginning of the program. Yes, my kingdom for a producer. So maybe we'll build this out. Maybe we'll got some ideas. How about we make Nick a producer of this show? He can handle some of those buttons, those things. See, then we build a Louder with Crowder and we have Mug Club. Look, nobody's going to do every single component of all the things, but as it grows, it helps all of it. Helps everyone. All right. I have ideas. All right, so where's my screen? Why am I not showing you that? There we go. That's more like what I was trying to show you. It's the world of AI, people. You know, are you really ready to say, show me the Epstein videos? I mean, to quickly scroll through, like, you don't instantly get the vibe that this is fake. I mean, especially there are little video clips. I mean, we've been watching parody videos that look almost indistinguishable from reality. How are we ever going to believe a case against somebody if you know anybody could put any information on any device? If any video you ever see could be fake, what do you even know if an entire fake reality was moving around you? This is a fake, this isn't a real account, but you see plenty of videos from people that look very similar. So there you go. There's your fake influencer. And I figured you should think about it. She's too good to be true. Mia Zelu, an AI-powered social media star. You heard about the band, the fake band with all the listens? I would play it for you, but the stunt is, it will run awry of copyright, so I won't even play it. But they made a fake band. This fake AI-powered social media star, over 150,000 Instagram followers at various tennis events, 160,000 followers. Who's this account following? Wonder what accounts this is following, if it's not a real account. I mean, look, at the end of the day, let's ask the question. Are any of you real people? Am I a real people? I swear I just had Facebook going again, and it glitched again. Huh. It's just one of those days. All right. Kenneth was pals with Stinian. I went to school with Stinian. Unholy Hoax was up there volunteering, and it's half. And with weather manipulation and just bad luck, I personally blame the usual suspects, as some people say. No, you can't ever say anything. You could never imply that anybody from a certain group. What group? That means my group, whatever my group is. I don't know. What am I? What do I want to claim today? I don't know what I am precisely. How do I define what I am? Is it how I self-identify? Well, then I identify in the way that will give me the most advantage and the least amount of culpability with no room for criticism. I'll take that. What percentage do you need to get back on a result from 23andMe to pull one of those off? I'll take it. Bunch of dorks. You can't criticize a certain group of people. You can criticize every group of people. Every group, the things, they are the same. All right, here's more AI. Look, AI can rile people up. Some people might think this is funny. Some people might get upset by this. And have you watched people getting upset by Alligator Alcatraz? It's like there's supposed to be a deterrence mechanism. Like that's kind of the point. A place you're not really interested in going, so don't do that. Maybe it's preventing more people from doing this. Like, dude, at the nightclubs, some promoter propped the back door open and dumped a couple of busloads full of people into the club. Underage, overserved, contraband, bad intentions, people on our list of people we've already kicked out of here and are not allowed back in our club ever again. We have the right to determine who that is. Well, that's not a libertarian perspective. Well, then I don't know whatever it is, but it's common sense, and that's the one I'm taking. That's the perspective I'm going to take. I mean, if you're lifting up razor wire if you're riding in the back of a car to sneak in to end up working at a California pot farm, I mean, what are we doing? What is even happening? And so yeah, it's a weird spot, but yeah, Alligator Alcatraz is supposed to be, hey world. Hey world, don't go up, let's not start in with the stunts, all right?
Day 2 in Alligator Alcatraz in Florida, where we can see that this project has completely backfired. Mexicans have completely taken over the swamp.
¡Vamos rápido! No te dejes ganar. Tacos, tacos de cocodrilo. Botas y carteras de cocodrilo en venta. Llévele todo baratos. Pásele, güero.
This is day 2 in Alligator Alcatraz in Florida, where we can see that this project has completely backfired. Mexicans have completely taken over the swamp.
¡Vamos rápido! No te dejes ganar. Tacos, tacos de cocodrilo. Botas y carteras de cocodrilo en venta. Llévele todo baratos. Pásele, güero.
This is day 2.
Oh, yeah? Well, we're going to move to the Everglades and we're going to start selling alligator boots and alligator tacos. And it's like the part of this conversation, this whole immigration issue. I saw a comedian yesterday, Godfrey. Very talented, very funny. But when he approached the immigration issue, it was like, yeah, Trump doesn't like Mexicans or white people don't like this group or that group. And it's like, stop. I lived in Los Angeles for 15 years. Like, so many hardworking, awesome people. Do all of them have documents? No, they do not. Should they all have documents? No, they should not. And who should not? Well, I mean, if you pop a side door open with a cinder block and you fill up Disneyland with as many tour buses as possible for 4 years in a row, come on. Come on. Don't look at me like I caused a problem here. but I'm identifying you guys need to get back out of where everybody out. There's the CBP home app that'll help you go back out, get a ticket, and walk in through the front door because you snuck in the back door. That's what the Democrats were up to with Kamala Harris as a border czar. But look at the ingenuity of this comedy skit here. Come on. That's Southern California, Mexican culture. It's awesome. And there's many bad people. See, just like America, there's no difference. So everything's the same. Just everyone's equal. Everyone's an American. Make him a citizen. No. There's people who have abused children in the past, and they're not welcome in this place. This is our place. They don't get. They're not allowed into the club. I'm going to put a black ball in. Nope. I do not want that person to join. I'm going to use I'm going to toss my joker. I'm going to use a whammy. Nope. I'm going to veto that. There's a lot of bad hombres out there. And that needs to be resolved. Everybody else needs to get the app, tap in, go, hey. I want to be here and be a blessing to this society. I want to learn English. I want to learn our Constitution and our Bill of Rights and agree that these are the ideals that I want to bring into this country, not infiltrate it and change it from within. There's a huge difference. And there's a process that you should be able to go through for that. Maybe you get some sort of temporary thing that's never meant to click into the next category. It's like, dude, you snuck in here. You've been taking our resources. You've been doing what? People with criminal backgrounds, like criminal history here. You're coming in and you're causing a problem inside the club that you just snuck into. That's a double whammy. Like that's gone. Never again. You lost your LA privileges. I didn't say that right. Easter egg question of the day. He lost his LA privileges. What is that from? I haven't seen that in a while. And I'm trying to exactly recreate the scene in my head where that happens. Type it in the comments. Yeah, alligator Alcatraz. Look, all humans are ingenious. That alligator Alcatraz thing was just funny, though. I mean, end of the day, it was very funny. But it does draw the point. It's like, come on, if there's people coming here that want to do really tough jobs, and it's like, man, I'm just trying to have a good time and just live a good life, man. That's like all of us, right? So what is the answer? What is the recalibration? Could it just be every single person who's not in here needs to raise their hand and do the CBP One app, go report to the station, say hello, exchange information, here's my temporary identification as somebody who's in the country that's not a citizen. It's a purple border. And it says this person has self-identified with CBP One, CBP Home. They're currently here working a job, or they're currently here, doing something. And they said, if it's okay, I'd like to continue trying this. I haven't caused any problems since I've been here, but I really think I have something to offer the country. Is that something we could agree with and just stop the ICE stuff? I don't know. Is that enough? Should everybody get deported? Lots of questions. Lots of questions. Unholy hoax. I live 42 minutes from Kerrville in Texas, and the community just don't get how the hell a flood like that happens so quickly and aggressively. So I have a question. Have they thought of additional ways now to vacate water from that path? Could they build up the barriers of that pathway and then put some hoses that could pump water out? Have they thought of a different way to engineer that area, knowing that it could happen? And maybe they'd have to over-engineer for something that was only caused by weather modification, which is unfair. Or maybe that's something that FEMA could handle. FEMA would come in and go, look, this just happened. I don't know the likelihood of this happening again, or the relation to chemtrails or seeding the clouds or whatever. The stuff I've been talking about for 15 years. Same with you. I know you have. I'm very interested in re-engineering New Orleans. We went down to New Orleans to just see what that was like. You know, the damage when we did our documentary, Hurricane Helene, Help on the Way. It's on YouTube and Rumble. Please watch it and share it with your friends. Yeah, very curious, like the path. All right, well, how do you need to build up on this bank a little bit more in case this ever happened again? Like, what safeguards are going to be in play in case this? I'm very fascinated with the rebuilding. I loved working with the earth ships out in Taos, New Mexico, and just getting a few hundred acres and making a subdivision and making it work. It's just fascinating stuff. Nick had some tiny fruit from the market, but someone stole them, so now he's mini apple-less. Wow, that's Deb says, oh no, I'm tardy. Just woke up. Actually, that was a joke made on the stage yesterday about being tardy. Because, and then one day, for no particular reason, everybody started using the word retard again. That was sort of the gist of the joke. Being late for class, you were called what? You were called tardy. Comedian was making the differentiation or doing the do. Showing the differential. That you don't say it to certain people, but I'm not talking to someone that actually is. I'm talking but it is interesting. But yeah, he did a whole set based on the word tardy and about the fact that retard is back in the lexicon. And then one day, for no particular reason at all, was running. But it's just interesting how, like, there was a phase where it was just sort of societally. There was just like, hey, man, it shouldn't be like that. And it was primarily the word gay and the word retarded. And if you grew up during a certain era, for a while there, everything was either gay or retarded. Do you remember that? Do you remember saying that or hearing that? And it's like, Listen to some old Eminem, case in point. Some current Eminem. Anyway, Deb is tardy to the program, but welcome. Forrest Trump. He said, sir, did you see the movie with the Wilson guy from Bosom Buddies, wasn't it? The one where he played dress up. That's Tom Hanks. Forrest Trump. So would that be, all right, so would that be Forrest Gump playing president or Donald Trump as the character Forrest Gump running through the movie? Oh my God. All right, we just stumbled into something here. Who in the TNAM meme team? We have a meme team. TNAM meme team. M-E-M-E. Meme. No matter how I say this, it sounds like I'm stroking out. I'm the TNAM meme team. Can somebody in AI have Donald Trump replace the Forrest Gump. Do like a montage of famous scenes where it's Donald Trump running in the, was it Alabama helmet? Can someone make that an AI? Or the character Forrest Gump as acted by Tom Hanks playing president. Mama always said governance was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. I was governing. That'd be interesting. I would love to see. I met President Kennedy. I met the president again. They had Dr. Peppers there. I could drink about 35 of those. I do like that movie, and that is a great performance. Kenneth, my AI wife. Yeah, I mean, people are going to have AI companions right away. Right away. I promise you. Like, you're going to have your companion very soon. You know, how far down the rabbit hole of that do you feel like going? All right. Let's move off Alligator Alcatraz. Let's tell you some of the stories that we have in the news, shall we? Democrats just messed up big time, writes James Dunn. So here's one you could agree or disagree with. Let me put the comments back up. James Dunn says Democrats just messed up big time. In their push to weaponize birthright citizenship, a federal judge granted legal standing to unborn children as a class. Now, pro-lifers can sue over abortion laws against Planned Parenthood and wrongful death of the unborn. The left just opened the floodgates and they have no idea what's coming. I haven't spent much time thinking about that, per se. My phone must have notifications turned on, but I don't have notifications turned on. That's bizarre, isn't it? All right, so keep your eyes peeled on this unborn children as a class that have now been granted legal standing by a judge. All right, here's one from Being a Libertarian. Let's walk through this meme. Here we go. There we go. The Epstein list needs to be released. But, Peter, it would literally destabilize the world. 2/3 of Congress and a large portion of the world's most powerful people would be imprisoned. Society would at least partially collapse. Hey, I already said I'm for it. You don't have to sell it to me. Right? I mean, come on. What a flimsy excuse of a reason. If exposing it was what I was trying to say. If exposing it takes down 2/3 of Congress and society would at least partially collapse. All right. Cool. Finally, thankfully. It's about damn time. Hit reset. Everybody, cards up. We're putting this system back together. You have fleeced us long enough. What type of power play is that? And you heard Jamie Dimon come out talking strong, real strong. You've never heard Jamie Dimon like this. Talking about a lot of his friends on the left, their policies, every time they're implemented, they're disasters. They have really big hearts and really small brains. Something along those lines was the quote. There is a renegotiation happening with every country. I want to announce a trade deal with Rhodesia. Was that it? I don't know. Indonesia. one of the Ijas. I said, wow, where did you learn how to speak English so well? They said, sir, that's the language they speak over here. I said, I didn't even know. That was kind of a Godfrey joke yesterday as well. I'm accrediting him. I'm not lifting his material. But it is in the wheelhouse of the jokes I make here every day. So, yeah, you don't need to sell it to us. Just go. Let's get on it. Deb, I think Alligator Alcatraz is awesome. Ring that dinner bell. And people are saying about how cruel thoughts like that are. It's like, no, we don't want anyone going into the swamps. And we don't want anyone going to this detention facility. Go to the CBP home app, raise your hand, and go introduce yourself. Get the purple card. And then you've at least you've handled step one, identifying who's in the club that doesn't have a wristband. Everybody, wristbands up. You don't have them? Everybody into that back room right now. Everybody else, go over here. Hands up. Walk through. Anyone else? You got to go back here and get rechecked in. Man, that's the minimum starting point. And to act like everybody that snuck in while the door was propped open has good intentions. No. Stop it. Get out of here with that. We're not buying that. We're not having that. That's not reality. But wanting to get control of what just happened over the last several years, that's a cleanup problem. We didn't cause that problem. And that doesn't mean we hate anybody from any particular place. It's just we have an operating protocol in this place. And if your intentions fit with what the game plan is, then you're somebody we could consider to join the team. Like, not everybody gets to, bat for the Chicago White Sox. You got to kind of make the team. So yeah, we got to get it figured out. Nick says many of them also made it through the Darien Gap, which makes the Everglades look like fun time in comparison. Yeah. Oh, the Darien Gap. I listened to a long episode of John B. Wells on Caravan to Midnight with, who was his guest? I forget. You should check John B. Wells out and check out my conversation with John B. From maybe a month ago. It's pinned on our X feed at American_media_. Yeah, lots of stuff about Chinese military invasion. Like, there are sleeper cells, there are military clusters that have been pre-positioned across this country, ready to be activated. There's no pretending that didn't happen. So just ignoring the problem is not a solution. So is the solution CBP home? Everybody that is not in here that is with legal documents, you must log in and go identify yourself. That means you will have to get a criminal background check. Instant. And you'll be granted a purple card. It's not a green card. It's not citizenship incoming. It's just you wanted to help ICE reduce the scope of where they need to focus and go after the really bad people with really bad intentions. You're like, hey, if I show up, do we have an agreement? You're not going to throw me out. If I can work here and if I can stay here, can I just stay here? Like, I haven't caused a problem. I'd really like to. Is there some sort, like, that's the thing they're saying. Oh, it's amnesty. It's amnesty. I don't know if the purple card would be amnesty. I think it would just be, and look, I think the purple card should come with a basic understanding that it is possible that you and your children and your children's children cannot become citizens. You'll be purple residents. You just don't get to go into a corporation and change the breading mixture. Oh, and I'm going to add new ingredients. I'm going to put some of this. I'm going to do that. It's like, there's already something happening here. It's not about one country. That's where I think some of the comedy I heard yesterday that was Like, oh, doesn't like this group of people or doesn't like that group of people. It's like, no. It's wanting good people who didn't break in through your back door. There's a lot of provisions to how something can be spun. And I just, if it's a dishonest spin, it's something that kind of rubs me the wrong way. I felt like some of the jokes I heard yesterday were kind of dishonestly warped. At one point talked about, oh, you've seen all the stories. It's all about people saying, oh, I regret voting for Trump. I'm like, where are these videos? Is it that we're in an echo chamber and we're not seeing what the left is seeing? Because they're spreading them around, people crying like, I lost my Medicaid and I wish I should have never voted for Trump. Are these all advertisements? Is this reality? Like, is that 1% of people? Is that 50%? Like, maybe I'm in an echo chamber and I don't get to see that side of things. I don't know many people who feel that way. That doesn't mean it's not out there. All right. Let's see. Unholy hoax. Speaking of AI and tacos, during volunteering at the disaster, 50 illegals came in an old bus and got supplies. They 100% did not live in Kerrville or were affected by the flood. Shameful. You know what? Let me take a contrarian position on that. You know, Kevin Love, the great basketball player for the Cleveland Cavaliers, helped us get our first championship in franchise history. The first championship I ever got to celebrate as a Cleveland fan amongst all the major sports teams my entire life. It was that Kevin Love team. And, you know, he talked greatly about mental health, and he had a panic attack on the court, and he went back and he felt like he had a physiological, and like he had to kind of unpack what's going on. And, you know, talks about the strongest thing you can do is admit that you need help, you know? And it's like we have Men's Mental Health Awareness Month in June, as June should always be focused on. That should be 50% of our population is men. And if you're not a man, maybe you had a father, or maybe you had a brother, or maybe you had a cousin, or maybe you had an uncle, or maybe you had a grandfather, or maybe you had a male teacher, or maybe you had a male role model in your life somewhere. So even if you're not a male, you could support it. Let's make this an inclusive month of June for Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. It's very important that each day in June we discuss that everywhere. But Kevin Love, you know, he was like, you know, if you guys are having a hard time, like, let's talk about it. Let's not do anything drastic. You know, or it's okay. It's actually a sign of strength to ask for help. So if people showed up in old bus and got supplies, look, at a certain point, you have to admit the absurdity of the situation. I would just say on a certain level, if there's 50 people on a bus that need a hand at a time, when everybody's trying to get as many bottles of water together. You know, we got a whole donation run from Louisville and drove into Southern Virginia and unloaded. I mean, the whole vehicle was weighed down. Lowe's. Go shop at Lowe's this weekend. Lowe's knows. That's not a knock on the other places. That's who was able to. They were frustrated at the FEMA response, and I told them I was going down to make a supply run and do a documentary so that we could all see what's going on. Yeah, they loaded it up. So, I mean, if there's people who are showing up and they're like, hey, man, I could use a bite to eat. Oh, my gosh, that's, you know, and if there's no shame in people just grabbing, like in a riot of looting or something. It's like smash and grab at a Macy's, or you go to the Apple store or the Nike store to do a quick smash and grab, and it's just like, this is god awful. What the hell are wrong with you people? What do you mean, you people? I mean criminals that would participate in a smash and grab just to loot a place. for fun. Like those aren't people that we would like to live in our neighborhood, because we want to have kids. We want to have families, gatherings, and we want the people around to have a safe, good time. But you can't if you got a creepo that's going to abuse Lake and Riley in our country. Someone you let in. Every week it's migrant crime, migrant crime, migrant crime, So like with the immigration analogy, it's like, well, you know what? Check this out. How do I pitch this idea to President Trump? Can somebody clip this? And I'm not saying I have all of the answers on this suggestion, this policy idea here. But what if we could grant a purple card, not a green card, not a promise for citizenship, a green card? If you download the CBP Home app, we are requesting, demanding anybody in this country without a social security card or documents. It's not just about a driver's license, because that's about, the specific act of driving a car, but it's really an identification card regardless. Go to CBP Home, go check in. Every city will have a place. Just go check in and say, look, I'm here. I don't, and maybe the provisions and the extent of it. And you'd have to honor your side of the agreement. This has to be, nobody's getting snatched up at this. But during that process, they get a criminal background check. And they're like, look, I didn't do anything bad in Mexico. I'm not running from. I didn't do anything bad in this country. Run a check on me real quick, please. Like I'm here because I wanted to be here. I think I could make this place a better place. And you talk about it. Talk to us like you're an employee. You'd like to work at our company. You'd like to be in our country. Not like I want to invade it and I want to bring all of my ideas from my other place to this place. It's like, no, there's a lot of good stuff going on. I got a lot of ideas. I got a lot of energy. This is where I'd like to be if I could. You apply. You interview for the team. Can I be a part of this? If those 50 illegals said, hey, come on in. Hermano, es bueno. Aquí. Dame los tarjetas. Oh shit! ¿Cómo se dice purple en español? And entiende? Anybody know how to say purple? Is that naranja? No, it's not naranja. Okay, Nick shared a post that I'm going to get to on X about ICE. Thank you, Nick. Purple in Spanish. Is it negro? No. Is it blanco? No. Rojo? No. Verde? No. Azul? No. Did I say verde, like Verde River? The awesome song by Pucifer? No. How do I say purple in Spanish, Grok? Morado or purpura? Purpura? Morado? But what if those 50 illegals said, hey, hermano, aquí dámelos. Oh, shit, I just said it. Morado tarjetas? Morado tarjetas? You got your purple card? Sí, señor, sí, aquí. You would then know that person raised their hand voluntarily with ICE all across our country and said, in the years I've lived, look up my background and past, I haven't done anything violent. And I do consider property crime violent. I do consider theft violence. I consider all that stuff. If they could just say, I raised my hand. I'm a good guy just out here trying to work and make my way. You know, I'm hoping I can get citizenship someday, that I can go through the steps necessary. Say, I'd like to join your team. They say, all right, well, here are the requirements. Learn English, learn the Bill of Rights, learn our history, come back and tell us that you understand it and why we have the God-given rights that we have here and that you support upholding and defending those ideals from any person, either foreign or domestic, who tries to come in here and mess our country up. Because there's infiltrators here. There's bad people that want to do bad things. And that needs to be handled. So if those 50 people showed up at your property with a purple card, morado, tarjetas, aquí, ahorra, por favor, bueno. You go, oh, these people are pre-screened. Yeah, they're up here. This is a temporary worker's visa. And that could be revoked at any point. You say, I have to renew this every month. I need to come in, check in. Here's what's going on. Here's what the latest is. And at any moment, I could be informed that I need to leave. Maybe that's part of the provision. But if that person is showing a good faith effort to raise their hand and go, look, guys, the promoter opened the back door. I snuck in. I just didn't feel like paying $15 at the door. I'd rather pay it to you at the bar. I don't have a lot of money tonight. I'm not a bad guy. I didn't do anything wrong, but like, can I just walk to the front, pay you the $15 and come back in? All right, sure. Okay. But if you got people in the back that are cutting holes in the drywall and pulling out the copper pipes at your nightclub, yeah, you got to lay the law down. In one single Lake and Riley case, it should have never happened because that person shouldn't have been allowed to sneak in like this in the first place. Damn it. We're allowed to feel rage over that. And we're allowed to point out how stupid that the ideology is that we should let everybody from anywhere just come in and do whatever it is they please. Because that ain't it. You're not protecting the people that are from this country. I'm sorry. That ain't it. Americans are the group that need to be prioritized. Let's not abuse anybody else. In fact, if there are people enslaved in California, which they are, hundreds of thousands of missing children, guys, that's the system that we're up against right now. That's why none of this stuff seems to make sense, because it's bad. So we got to talk about it. But yeah, anyway, unholy hoax. What if those people had their purple card? Morado tarjetas. Unholy hoax got it. You lost your LA privileges. Pulp Fiction was the quote from that. Trump as Gump would be great. Carolyn, it says exasperated gasp. What is it? What do I need a little direction here. It's not very nice to write apart exasperated gasp. It has me running in. Doesn't Shane Gillis do a joke about Trump would sound funny if he got shot? Go, is that what I'm not doing the Gillis? I wonder what I was writing. I was. Trump is Gump. Somebody help me put that together with AI. That is fantastic. Run, Forrest Trump, run. Unholy hoax about your question. In Kerrville, for 10 years, the community has fought tooth and nail over getting funding for all sorts of safeguards. No one will budge. It's dubbed Flash Flood Alley. All right. Well, then can we can somebody be my booker for the show? Who would we reach out to? Who is the person? Is there a FEMA representative? Who would we book on the show to ask about getting the funding to build some, what are we talking? We're talking sandbags. We're talking some pumps, some infrastructure, some conduit, some culverts, some irrigation, some ditches, some tubing, some piping. I'm very interested in the rebuild, and FEMA needs to be proactive in these cases. I would love to interview someone from Texas FEMA, and just say, if what you're saying on Holy Hoax is the thing, like let's book that person for the show. Have them on Monday. Someone book them. I don't want to have people, but you get my point. Like, I'm very curious in that, and that's a shame, actually. Because if there's a known problem, let's get started. These are the infrastructure projects America needs to be working on. We don't need boondoggles with Solyndra. And how many of these are just money laundering schemes at the end of the day? A rock group named Wristband. The Wristband. All right. Nick says, I consider myself former MAGA. I did see that. So what does former MAGA mean, Nick? Former MAGA. Deb says, if Brian weren't illegal, I'd let him stay, as long as he made me laugh and played good music. All right. Can I sing for my supper? Can I give you a tap dance? Can I tell you a joke? Take a look. Comedy. Who does that? Comedy. Comedy. Easter egg question of the day. Type it in the comments. Who says comedy? One of the best comics out there. Just one of the funniest nights I've been a part of. Good entertainment is hard to find these days. Yeah, I think we're doing something fun. It's July, Brian. Wait, did I say June about something? Did I mention June? Oh yeah, shoo them off. You heard about TSA? They're in the process of, or they're probably going to, or they already did, or they're going to in most locations or many locations. I'm unclear on the exact details of the rollout, but TSA has said you can keep your shoes on now. You don't have to take your damn shoes off at the airport. That's a thing? Is that a thing now? So yeah, that's an interesting piece of information. I'm looking Bonnie Scott. Wait, Bonnie. Oh, I thought you meant Bon Scott, like the singer from AC/DC. Bonnie, it's a Scottish word. What does that mean? Okay, I will not check on Grok, but I don't know what the phrase means. I thought it was Bon Scott. Scottish word, Bonnie Scott. Yeah, keep your Sketcher on. All right. More Epstein stuff. Oh, no. Okay, look. I've been just hanging my head for days, just trying to... I don't understand the Epstein thing. I listen to what everyone's saying, and I'm still... There's something that's not clicking quite. Like, what comes next? What is the actual plan here? But while this is all happening, take a look. Here's something good. U.S. government records a $27 billion budget surplus in June. So that'd be 270,000, 270 million. So I'm guessing this is 27 billion. The first monthly surplus since June of 2005. That's 20 years. First monthly budget surplus. We voted for this button. I don't want to be all doom and gloom about whatever's going on, and it's not like Trump started that either. Oh, I was supposed to show you that. There you go. Yeah, we got to cover some good news from time to time. We can't just only fixate on the bad. Well, Tucker is
not acceptable.
Most people have been talking about for a long time, but it's, take a listen. Once again, James Dunn, but this is Tucker at at Turning Point USA, Tampa yesterday.
And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan? Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying that. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting U.S. president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born here. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here. So criticizing the behavior of a government agency does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person. It makes you a citizen. You're allowed to do that because you're not a slave. You're a citizen. And you have a right to expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against your interest. That's not creepy. It shouldn't be forbidden. And yet all of us have trained ourselves to believe that you can't say that somehow.
The comment we left, Tucker is saying what we are all saying to our American friends. We are demanding the cleanup of this demonic mess. It's all interconnected. All right, everybody, cards up. Cards up. Time's up, cards up. Flip your cards. Everybody's all in. Let's see it, because we're renegotiating something pretty big right now. You want to be in Alligator Alcatraz? You want to be in the real Alcatraz? You want to be in a subdivision with pretty decent weather and some nice amenities, but you're done. This is Club Med for you're going away for life, but it's going to be a posh retirement, you piece of shit. We got you. Do you want to do this the easy way or the hard way? Is it impossible to think that that could be happening right now in the middle of while President Trump is renegotiating with every country on earth? Well, slunched over body language doesn't suggest that immediately, unless that's really good acting, because they say, sir, you're going to want to look really defeated here. What is it? I've never played that role before. I'm not going to start now. I don't know. This is Tucker's just saying what everybody's been saying for years. Years we've been having this conversation. We are not slaves, and we are all having this conversation, and we need answers. Will Pam Bondi be resigning? Will Dan Bongino be resigning? What do you think? Question of the day. Put QOTD. Out of those three, Bondi, Bongino, and Patel, do you see any of them leaving, and who? Who do you see leaving from those three positions? Bondi, Patel, Bongino. Do you see anybody leaving?
But that's like too naughty and forbidden. And the effect of making that off limits has been to create a lot of resentment, and I'll say it, hate online. where people feel like they can't just say, like, what the hell is this? You have the former Israeli prime minister living in your house. You have had all this contact with the foreign government. Were you working on behalf of Mossad? Were you running a blackmail operation on behalf of foreign government? By the way, every single person in Washington, D.C. thinks that. I've never met anyone who doesn't think that. I don't know any of them that hate Israel, but no one feels they can say that. Why? And I think the longer that we play along with it, the more subterranean and creepy and hateful the conversation actually becomes. So I think it's better just to say it right out loud. Did this happen? And of course, that question has been asked to the government of Israel, and their answer is, we're not going to tell you. And I think our answer should be, no. As long as we're sending you money, if you were committing crimes on our soil, we have an absolute right to know, did you do this or not? And yet everybody has been so brainwashed into thinking that's somehow an expression of hate or bigotry, when it's not. It's a baseline question that every U.S. citizen has a right to an answer on.
We don't have the right to ask. We have the right to an answer. You know, these claims about people pulling puppet strings and, oh, that can't be happening. Oh, it's not like that. All right, well, then this is all done the Tucker way. And then all the cards are laid face up. We're all looking at what we're having, and we're having a renegotiation. You want to talk the art of the deal? Is it possible that this is going to work out? I don't know. I've had other moments that I've felt better about this whole thing. But this needs to happen the Tucker way.
What the hell was this? And by the way,
what the hell was this?
If it turns out that it was nothing not acceptable. And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of...
Okay, the clip reset there and he didn't get to his second part. But yeah, there's a lot of good conversation. I'm going to get to a couple of them as I scroll. Here's a reminder. I want to just touch on this story. Luigi Mangione. Can anyone explain to me why the Department of Justice is charging the guy on the left with terrorism for shooting a single CEO? While the Department of Justice is not pursuing terrorism charges against the man on the right who shot 2 Minnesota state representatives and their families and had a target list of 70 more. Explain it to me like I'm in kindergarten. Yeah? Anybody? Bueller? That story is not getting enough attention in Minneapolis. All right, Scoob. Aggie. I think I do a laugh of Scooby-Doo. All right, here you go. Trump's ripping children from their parents. Let's take the mask off of here. It's me, Gavin Newsom. We use illegal child labor to grow pot. Do you see how gross this has been under the surface? The guy leading it, the figurehead who allegedly inappropriately showered with his daughters and would always creepily touch and smell and creep out women and children. Would you be surprised if Gavin Newsom and Barack Obama and Joe Biden and all these people were in on human trafficking, slavery, gross Epstein stuff? Yep. Gavin Newsom, illegal child labor, growing pot in California. Here's more AI. Here's a visual for you. Here's National Treasure 3. It'll be based on Nick Cage stealing the Epstein client list from a secret vault inside Pam Bondi's desk or at the White House. According to We Are Breitbart, New York Times finally admits that Trump was right about a migrant gang taking over the Colorado apartment complex. Okay, only months later. Yeah, of course they did. And this is why the people who are in need to raise their wristband and show us. We're running a full criminal background check. What are you? Who are you? Where are you coming from? What are your connections? Are you a military asset for Afghanistan? From China? From Russia? No, we don't want any of these. No, it's not just one country that's not allowed to just sneak in. Nobody's sneaking in. Are you out of your mind? So yeah, of course this was a story. It always was a real story. And remember the people that lied to you about that story. And remember the people that were telling you, most likely this is what we're looking at. Because we got to start keeping a batting average on these stories. And maybe that's... Okay, I'm writing down batting average TNAM questions. How could we design an algorithm? Who on our TNAM meme team are like the computer nerd of the situation? There should be like yes or no questions, that like general knowledge questions. What is your batting average on the stuff that we know? I mean, what do we know? We've been to the moon, right? There's no Bigfoot and there's no aliens. Right? We know what happens when we expire from this experience, right? Right? Put this into a batting average category of questions. This would be a great general knowledge. Like if this was a Jeopardy category, this would be general knowledge 2025. Was the Colorado, or I guess maybe was that 2024? Wasn't that during the election? I'm trying to remember when that story actually began. I can't remember now. Was that a part of Kamala versus Trump? Or Biden versus Trump? I don't quite recall. Anyway, I'd like to see a batting average where you could load these in and go, did you believe what MSNBC was telling you, or did you know that what the story was? Like, are you a nitwit, or like, were you early to the party about having the basics of this story right? I think some of that stuff is very relevant for batting average questions. Defeat Democrats put this out and says, boom, President Trump received major backlash when he rolled out his tariffs, but it turns out he knows what he's doing. We had a June surplus. For the first time since 2005, the Treasury had a month of surplus. Trump proved them wrong yet again. That's a win, right? That is a win. So let's not get too hung up on all the negative stuff. Oh, Deb was giving us a definition of Bonnie. Yeah, you can call a lady handsome. It's not what you think of, but like it actually, if you look up many of the definitions, it's not a gender specific phrase. It's just commonly used that way, but it's not a knock against using it a different way. But it's just not right to the ear sometimes. Deb says, Tucker laying out the truth again. That's why I love him. Question of the day. You think Bongino is going to get out of there? I mean, look, he left a lucrative thing and he's handcuffed. And I don't know, man. That's not a bad guess, Deb. Question of the day, that Bongino will resign. Bondi. Kenneth says he thinks Bondi's going to peace out. Nick Adams says, question of the day, if they left, it would make no difference. That's the lesson to take away from this situation. The deep state runs deep. Yeah, you've been black-pilled, Mr. Nick Adams. You have all the classic earmarks of, what do they say, Russian disinformation? Your comments seems to have all the classic earmarks of taking the black pill. And maybe you're early to the party, and maybe you're right. Or maybe there is some hope, and maybe there is a point to some of this. Maybe this is all just a computer simulation, and we have to determine how to proceed. I don't know. But no, I mean, it runs deep. It's just, okay, what do we do now? Deb says, Ken, I've been bringing the series Outlander. Oh, you're brushing up on Scottish. Yeah, you wanted us to play something from Camelot, where he says, fight, fight. Very similar to how President Trump says, fight, fight. fight. It yeah, this is the day. No, tomorrow is the day. Yeah, thanks for being with me yesterday. It was a bit of a retrospective day. It was very, where were you when you heard that Trump got shot? And like, we're coming up on 1 exact year of that. And I wanted to like let the gravity of where we've been sink in for a minute and kind of float out and just do some stream of consciousness conversation there. So that was good. I thought I got a lot out of that. And I think that was the intention of the show yesterday. So if you missed it, it is a retrospective. It's a totally different show. Make sure you subscribe to all the places. Hit like, hit subscribe. Yeah, it's just, we have the first surplus in our country since 2005. And they tried to flip it. They tried to end Trump right there in Butler, Pennsylvania. Six Secret Service temporarily suspended. What? That's the resolution here? It doesn't feel like enough for me. Doesn't feel like enough for me. But hey, what do I know, right? Also, where's the final ruling on that? Who was this guy? Who was funding him? Who did he work for? Like, where's the beef? What's the story? Finish. So anyway, general knowledge. There's an Easter egg of the day. What show when they would bring up like, that's a major pain in the ass. Major pain in the ass. I had a drill sergeant named General Knowledge. General Knowledge. Question of the day, Easter egg question of the day. What is that from? Type it in the comments. That's a good show. I watched every episode. General Knowledge. Yeah, first cup of coffee and your brain is waking up. I mean, it's not exactly where I'm at, but this is the stuff I would be doing. I'd be doom scrolling on my phone. We're all popping in and seeing the stories worth talking about. Like we all are curious what's going on. Think about it, talk about it. Nick says, I don't think I'm too far into the black pill, but yeah, I'm a little bit, admittedly. I mean, no shame in that. I like my black coffee with cream. Is that it? Kid Rock lyric? Am I going to play that fight clip? I don't know exactly where it was, and I didn't have a chance to watch it and set it up yet. I can't play 90 seconds of it, no, because YouTube will remove the video from the internet so nobody gets to watch it. And it's like, the point of it is so people can watch. And I'm sure it's a cool clip, but I could play like 4 seconds of it. Kenneth says, Nick, keep the faith, bud. Yes, Kenneth giving us vibe checks. Yeah, there's certain days where I don't want to do stuff. And, Blake sort of brought me back into this world a couple times. I've done what I've done, and I've built that facility of content. And there have been times where I've focused on other things, different seasons of my mind, different seasons of my life. It's the season or something. Who sings that? Was that Kid Rock? It's the season of something or something. I know the song, but I don't quite know the melody completely. Probably know from commercials or something, selling me like a chance to run through the fields and the flowers and then end up having a sunset bath in a clawfoot tub with my middle-aged wife who looks fantastic for her age, and I'm clearly doing well with great teeth as well. It's the season, something like that. I don't really know the song, and I can't. It's not Janis Joplin because it's too laid back, but something from like San Francisco in the late 60s. It's the season. Yeah, so clip that part out is like a little TNAM segment, little TNAM humor segment. But we all have seasons. We all put energy into different projects at different times of our lives for different reasons. And if we could go back, maybe we would do things different. Maybe we'd do them exactly the same. And, you know, I was kind of brought back to this universe. Like, yeah, there have been times when, you know, you get the not so subtle message, like, you know, what more do you need to see? And, you know, you wonder why you're banging your head up against a brick wall when YouTube won't let people, you know, thousands of subscribers, they won't let people see our content anymore. There's no growth. There's no monetization. It's just like, yeah, bro, it's a dead end over here. It's just going to be tumbleweeds for you. Oh, no, we know you were crushing for a while. But yeah, we're just going to take that. We're going to change the algorithm. So like, you gotta peel layers back. I don't see David today. David might be hanging out in the back in Ontario, having a great day. But I think I've talked to David about peeling the layers back. I think I've had multiple conversations about that. But yeah, there's just different levels to everything in general. And it's like the Epstein list. Oh, you can't release it. There are too many people are implicated. It's like you can have an outer list. Just explain this. Someone summarize this. Put me in charge of summarizing this. So there's an outer layer here on the Epstein files. Anybody in this outer ring, the whole goal was to get politicians and athletes and actors and musicians and news people and royal families and this and that and whatever, world leaders and corporate influence leaders. You could be in the outside circle, but it's like if you get really inside, like you took the bait and you just went to town. You know, those stories matter. But yeah, there are days that cover in this news. It's just it's stuff I don't want to do. I don't want to peel back the layers of the onion to see just how bad it is. Every time you peel back a layer, it just gets a little more. You know, the petals are starting to rot in your fingertips, and it's getting liquefied, and there's mold that went past mold into something else with mold on that, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. And it's like, as you peel back to see just how bad this stuff is, yeah, you're going to have days that you reevaluate what you're spending your time on. So Nick's saying he's not too far into the black pill, but no, look, I mean, we all have days where it's like, I need a day to recal. I'm not going to, not doing it today. Can't do it. And I've taken time off. I've stepped away to various degrees or worked on different projects. Like we all just have a million projects going on. Maybe we all don't, but I do. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I have a million projects going on. But all right, he says he's not too far black-pilled, so that's no, it's not. I like my sugar with coffee and cream. Keep it going, full steam. I'm that kid in the corner. No, that's a different song. All right. Deb says she's optimistic, but she's pragmatic at the time. To everything, Trump, Trump, Trump. Do everything, every season, Trump, Trump, Trump. It's the mega something, something. It's the season or something. Nick went from the black pill, MAGA for 8 years, back to the black pill, but with more conservative values. I mean, we're all sorting this shit out. It's all right. You know, we don't have a purity test. You want to drive yourself batshit crazy? Try hanging out with libertarians. They're so libertarian. They want to keep the doors open. They don't want locks. They don't want any immigration. And it's like, hey, guys, there's a massive security breach. Everything's blinking. Red and danger, 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 danger. We're in the middle of like 5 fucking wars at once. With a lot of people that want to do us some serious damage. 5-alarm fire. Everybody raise your hand. Get your purple card. Go down to the CBP1 app. Go do the thing. Full background check. Everybody needs to check in. Everyone check in. You get your hand up. You got nothing. Go to the other room. You know, so I don't know what values those are, but man, trying to deal with a libertarian that's like, you know, you can't like own a potato, man. And you're like, what? What are you even on? It's called microdosing, and it's like really unlocking part of my brain that like was sort of wrapped up in the capitalist dogma that like I was starting to drown in, you know. Got a little much for me. So anyway, yeah, politics is a roller coaster. That's true. Oh my gosh, David's ears must have been burning. I mentioned David, and there he is. Welcome, David Ben in sunny Ontario, Canada. Come on, look at this meme right here. Do I have to say it? Should I go to the interwebs and find it? I'll play you the original. Here, let's see. Where's that clip? Okay, I just need the... Here you go. Found it.
But I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real. And you fucks. But I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real. And you fucks.
Now look at Pam Bondi. Hear the voice again. And I'm telling you right now, that motherfucker right there is not real. That's Pam Bondi talking about Jeffrey Epstein. He's not real. Thank you, Internet. You were created for memes like this. Follow the New American Media on Instagram. Oh, let me put that back up on the screen. The different places where you can find us. You got to be linked up with us in more than a couple locations. Because we've been silenced before, but never again. Here's one. All right, agree to disagree alert. Agree to disagree alert. Type in the comments, do you agree or disagree? Say agree 0%, disagree 0%. This meme says, I know I'm not perfect, but at least I am 0% liberal. Do you agree or disagree? In the comments. Is that funny? Is it accurate? Is it bullshit? Type it in the comments. Look, I know I'm not perfect, but at least I'm 0% liberal. See, that one's tough because it's like that term used to mean something so different. It was not totalitarian and whatever we've been dealing with in the past couple decades. I used to say I was fiscally conservative, socially libertarian, and pro-capitalist. Deb agrees. Kenneth agrees. There you go. All right. By the way, just, you know. Oh, here's a video for Kenneth, or a story for Kenneth. I don't know if this is accurate. Bella's Chance agrees 100%. I might not be perfect, but I'm 0% liberal. So, like, don't judge me, bro. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm not the problem. Yeah, Jamie Dimon went hard. He's like, my friends on the left, they got really big hearts and really small brains because the stuff they are passing as legislation, the ideas that they're implementing are terrible and none of them work. They're all really bad. It's just you got to call out reality. You can feel a certain way, but it doesn't mean you reach the same conclusion. You know. Nick says he disagrees. There's room for a little bit of liberalism. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I'm fiscally conservative, socially libertarian, and pro-capitalist. I didn't say liberal. I said libertarian. It's kind of like, to a certain degree, if you're not harming somebody else, there's like an expectation of, come on now. Come on. To each their own, as long as you're not harming somebody. That's a key part of that, though. All right, so I don't know if this story is true. Let me type it on Grok. See if this is here. Let me present this to you before I type in my research. Apparently, according to what is this, Spectacular and Girls Think I'm Funny. So I don't know if this is a parody site or what. I'm going to check it after, but I just, Kenneth's big on numbers, and a lot of us are big on numbers, actually. But this story says, baby born at 7:11 p.m. on July 11th, also known as 7/11, weighed in at 7 pounds, 11 ounces, got $7,111 for college from 7-Eleven. Is that a real story? Or is that just like some parody? Is it like the Onion story? Just somebody cracking a joke? Oh, yes, there are verified reports of babies born on July 7 with remarkable coincidences tied to the 7-Eleven brand. Two most notable. Jamie Brown. J''AIME, Jamie Brown. College fund, $7,111. And then there's Waylon Bush in 2022. The other one was 2019. But, she said she saw the number 7-Eleven a lot while pregnant. 7 pounds, 11. Yeah, the other one was 6 pounds, 8 ounces. Oh, and then there was a birth in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven store. It aligned with the store's 95th anniversary, and they gifted the family 7 years of free coffee in care package at 7-Eleven and Slurpee branded items, onesies, diapers. Both stories are true and well documented, with the numerical or circumstantial ties to 7-Eleven making them notable. The company's responses, including gifts, contributions, further confirm the authenticity of these events. I didn't expect this to be real. But look, he is the chosen one. And if I'm reading this right, Jamie, that is a guy or a girl. Like, I don't know exactly if it's a guy or a girl kid, but this child is the chosen one. It was foretold to me. There would be a purple calf. They would be in the sky on the mount upon high. $7-Eleven changed everything, man. There I was, walking through blood and bone looking for my brother. He was in northern Canada. All right, let's get some positive perspective here from Scott.
This is
always somebody to help reset the narrative to something positive. I do really appreciate this about Scott Jennings. He's one of the best.
It's not the Republican Party that I grew up in, and I don't think it's ever coming back. I think it's gone. I think it's gone for good. They're in the ditch, and they just don't know it yet.
How are we in the ditch? We won the national popular vote last November. We won a crushing victory in the Electoral College. We won majorities in the House and the Senate. We just passed the big, beautiful bill. Peace is breaking out in the Middle East. Peace is breaking out on the African continent. Gas prices are lower than they've been in 4 years. Taxes are going to be low. Egg prices are down 69%. The southern border is secure. Jeff, These are things Republicans have believed in for a very long time.
But Scott, I mean, we prove that that's not the case.
His attitude and his ability to get things done, his spirit, the way he fights the left, the way he fights for free speech in Western civilization, and the way he's open to coalition building and building non-traditional alliances is a key political talent.
I remember sitting at a meeting leading up to this election. I've got Bill Kristol sitting here. I've got, former friends, conservatives from across the aisle. We were all aligned in how do we defeat Trump. It was a meeting.
How'd it work out?
You know what, Scott?
Just
all right.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
This is not the Republican Party that I grew up in.
Their panelist there, one of their guests that they cut to, that white dude with the dark hair, John Fugelsang. We had him as a guest last year, right around this time, because he put out after the Trump assassination attempt, like he started putting some unhinged posts. I'm like, we've interviewed this guy before. We met him at Politicon or something, or one of these events in Los Angeles. Like, what the hell is he thinking? But just to get in the mind of where he's at, like, everything didn't have to be argumentative. I didn't agree with a lot of what we were talking about, but like, let's let you wind you up and let you talk. I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, that guy, John Fugelsang, we had a talk with him last year. And it was a good conversation. I mean, I don't know that we changed his mind on an issue. I'm almost certain he didn't change our mind on an issue. We did not agree on all that much. I thought he was disingenuous at times. I thought he was interesting and clever other times. Come on, end of the day, don't we feel that way about a lot of people? It's fine. You don't have to throw somebody out completely because they had one bad take or 20 bad takes. All right, at some point, But yeah, 7-Eleven changed everything, man. Ham sandwich, man. All right. Let's see. Okay. Good job, Scott Jennings. Let's take a listen.
One thing people don't know is before he said fight, 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 I could see him. He says USA twice. He's still on the ground.
Selena Zito on the phone, Washington Examiner national political reporter.
And then I see him turn and get up and say fight, fight, fight. Wow. And so we talked about that. And I said, why? And he said, well, at that moment, I wasn't Donald Trump. I was symbolic, even though I wasn't president yet, again. I had once been president. I had an obligation to show that the country is strong, that we will not be defeated, and that we are resolute. I did not want to be the symbol of America being weak.
Jeez.
One thing people...
You take an adversity and you wear it proudly. Does trying to change the meaning of the N-word into the word dude similar? Like, I'm taking that word back, I'm claiming it, and I'm changing the meaning of it. It now means, what's up, dude? Nothing, my dude. Dude, please. Is that something similar? President Trump with his mugshot. I got arrested. I got framed for all sorts of shit. Yeah, you want my mugshot from something I didn't. There's no reason for me to have been standing in this position and asked to take a picture. You want to see from my face how excited I am that somebody. You frame that and you put it up on the wall. And you're like, remember that day? Remember how you felt in that picture? And you're like, is this real life? Or are you really doing this right now? You don't need to be doing this. You have no right to be doing this. You're doing what? We're really doing this right now. Then you own it. You frame it and you put it up on the wall. And you're like, yep, that's my look. That's my mugshot. I'm going to sell it on a mug. Mugshot on a mug. Brilliant. But, claimed an awful moment. And he's like, nope. came up just riled up, and it's like, I don't know. There's also an anti-wisdom to that. Why would you do that? You don't know if there's how many. It's not smart. But the story there, as being reported, is that it was. I'll just play one more time.
People don't.
Because this is the retrospective. This is the weekend that we need to pay the most. I don't think about this every. Norm Macdonald did a joke about that. He's like, I woke up in the middle of the night, terrified about that tiny little island over in North Korea. Yeah. No, you don't wake up like that. But we're supposed to be afraid of it every day. So I don't wake up every day thinking about July 13th, but man, I mean, the timeline we're on, that could have gone one of two ways, and this is the timeline to be on. And we cannot let that slip past us. The fucking relevance of that moment. The importance of how far they are willing to go to keep destroying this place. Destroying this place. And that's not just for the past 4 years under Biden. It's not just the past 16 years of Barack Obama influence. It's not just since 9/11. It's not just since Nixon took us off the gold standard, not just since they took out John F. Kennedy. They did Jekyll Island in 1913 to steal our currency and loan it back to us at interest like we owe them something. What? So there's short-term things we're talking about, but there's historical context that is very relevant to understanding where we are right now. Very important historical context. So yeah, you take something bad or take something negative and you turn it around. Remember, it was Hillary that was talking. Well, okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Norm Macdonald, and here's the fake news. So he introduced Weekend Update as the fake news. But it was really like Hillary's campaign tried to pin something on Donald Trump that's fake news. He's like, fake news? That's great. You're fake news. They're all fake news. Look at them. CNN, the biggest fake news in the bunch. They used to be good. Not so good anymore. Fake. You're cool. And fake. So you took something that could have taken you out and you turn it into like, hey, I don't know. I'm rolling the dice. I'm just going with this moment. I don't know. But here it is again. Just remember.
No, is before.
The full interview is reporter Salina Zito on the Glenn Beck Show, April of 25.
He said, fight, fight, fight. I could see him. He says USA twice. He's still on the ground. And then I see him turn and get up and say, fight, fight, fight. Wow. And so we talked about that. And I said, why? And he said, well, at that moment, I wasn't Donald Trump. I was symbolic, even though I wasn't president yet. Again, I had once been president. I had an obligation to show that the country is strong, that we will not be defeated, and that we are resolute. I did not want to be the symbol of America being weak.
Jeez.
One thing people...
I mean, JFK, that was an awful symbol. Oh, my God. We're that same country. We can't do any better. Hold on. It's time to renegotiate. Flip your cards over. Flip your cards over. Everyone at the table, we're renegotiating. You don't have the cards. Frankly, I have the cards. JD, tell them about the cards. You're playing a dangerous game, Zelensky. Volodymyr. Your pathetic ass excuse of a suit. I have a Life jersey. I'm gonna get. I put it in like this with my arms. I go. I have a Life jersey. Wherever he goes, he looks like a. I don't know. What was I gonna say? Like an extra from a movie about Castro? Oh, from an extra from a made-for-TV movie about Cuba. I don't know. An extra. It's gonna be on like the Hallmark Channel. Anyway, it's this weekend. All right, back to Epstein.
This is a real brief summary. It was an hour-long talk.
Jessica.
What I said was, I believe evil forces inside of the government, FBI, CIA, were working with Jeffrey Epstein, and I believe those criminals probably destroyed anything that would have incriminated them a long time ago. I believe that Pam Bondi and her ilk have, a whole bunch of papers and files and things like that, but you think they're just redacted for you? I think they redacted them from Pam. I think any of the...
Okay. Nobody has said we requested every file. Here's the entirety of what we received. That has not been articulated. They said they looked into it and there's nothing to see. Move on. No. That's not the... No. We're not doing that. No. You said we demand everything on this. Show us the investigation so we can finish it. And we were handed nothing. So who in charge obstructed the justice of that investigation? Who deleted files? Who has withheld? They're like, oh, we found a secret room. And look, we found a whole bunch of stuff that they weren't telling us about. All right, well, where's the other stuff? What's even going on? Were there shredding machines outside? Were they... What are we even talking about? They haven't said that. If they said that, they could have avoided a whole bunch of problems, but instead they didn't.
The truly criminal stuff got put in the paper shredder. I think they got way over their skis. They got on the news and promised you and promised me that we would have names, we would have results, we would have accountability. And I think they made those promises before they figured out, wow, what I'm left with are crumbs. I don't know.
But then they should have said that. These are the crumbs that I was left with. I feel like we had more information several years ago. What in the world has happened? And we're going to drag all of you assholes back here. I mean, you have to have a coup of these intelligence agencies because they've tried to stage a coup of the presidency, of the will of the people, which is us. If you lose the consent of the governed, it's game over. Flip the cards over. Sit where you're sitting. Everybody, hold on. Game over. Like there's a non-participation element here. You've changed the rules. The rules are not what we're saying. And that's where we're at. Oh, that's weird. So I shared a comment in the Restream studio. It looks like it bounced over to Kick and then doubled the message and sent it back. It says, tag us on X, trim the clip, and I'll share. Yep. A bunch of crumb bums. Yeah, we got crumbs. All they had to do was say that. Is Pam Bondi the worst messaging person we've ever seen in federal government? Does Carolyn Leavitt need to take over this job? She seems very capable. She seemed very not herself. Missing her cross, not looking happy. What in the hell is even going on right now? Are they all being told to cover up? Is somebody threatening exposing Trump? Is he compromised? Like, where are we at? Why is everything so weird right now? What this Jesse Kelly's talking about is just if they said I was left with crumbs, that's all they gave me. That's not what they said. Bongino goes, I looked into it. Look, I trust me, he did it to himself. There's nothing to see here. He's fucking lying to us. You don't have to say it that way. You could say, well, I've reviewed every document that was handed to me. And you could wink at the camera. And you could say, as a reminder, on X date, we submitted to these intelligence agencies that we want everything affiliated with this case because we needed to wrap it up. And what was returned was everything that I have here. And I've looked at every piece in here. Based on this, here's what we have. And here's who we have. And here's the indictments that have just been released. None of that happened. He's like, I looked into it, and I've worked in whatever I've worked in secret in facilities, and he hung himself. He did it to himself. And you're like, that's the way you say that is by winking at the camera, like, dude, they didn't give me everything. I didn't. There's nothing here. There's no case here. There's no there. They're there. Threats, likely. Maybe. But anyway, it wasn't presented the way that Jesse Kelly's saying. If it was presented this way, you at least have some plausible such and such. But they didn't
know anything. That's what I think. I think the deep state destroyed the stuff. Should be noted, a former director of the Central Intelligence Agency said virtually the same thing I said after I said it. Former CIA officer, not director, officer. Deep state likely destroyed Epstein files long ago. So that's what I said last night. That's the very brief recap. This is a real brief summary.
So I don't know.
Karen Bass on paying illegal immigrants.
We also are going to have a reinstitution of the Angelino card, something that Mayor Garcetti started during COVID that will actually provide cash assistance to people. Because, you have people who don't want to leave their homes, who are not going to work, and they are in need of cash.
Who doesn't want to leave their homes and go to work?
Cash.
So if you came here illegally and then you committed another crime.
Illegal aliens taking money from your taxes instead of doing the CBP home app, raising their hand.
Just hang tight. We're going to give you a little cash to hold you over so you don't have to come out of your house.
This is looking insurrectionist. We are going to pay you to break the law. We are not only going to tell you not to follow the federal law, federal immigration law. Now we're going to pay you to stay at your home and hide from the authorities that are enforcing laws that are nationwide. If they were against these laws, they should go through the legislative process and try to pass laws that say we're against federal immigration and we want open borders. But they're not doing that. They're paying people to break the law.
I want to put this video up, and here's some of it right here, Ron. But this video you see where you've got this marijuana farm. You see them throwing rocks at the officers. They were firing guns, the protesters, at these ICE agents. I just want your take as somebody who was kind of in this industry. What's your take on what you're seeing here?
Well, it's ridiculous. It's dangerous. Those officers that are having rocks thrown right at their head through the side window of those vans, that's attempted murder. That's assault. And they showed great restraint in not firing.
And they're showing here that they're taking aim. It looks like this guy's shooting.
To preserve their lives or to preserve grievous bodily injury from happening to them. And so this is what the left brings you. The rhetoric that calls these people Nazis, the rhetoric that says people are being kidnapped, the rhetoric that says being in the country illegally is not a crime is all wrong. And it's causing these activists to be emboldened in cases like this.
Karen Bass on paying illegal immigrants.
We also are going to have a reinstitution of the Angelino card, something that...
All right. How wild is that? Ryan Fournier reporting that Matt Gaetz is on his way to Washington, D.C. at the request of President Trump, canceling a previously scheduled appearance with Charlie Kirk. Can anyone confirm that? Is he replacing Bondi? Is that the plan all along, to try it one way and watch the public say, we're not putting up with this? Don't know. Do not know. Money to
brother, we got
home like it's COVID.
Big live audience for you. Reports out there tonight that Cash Patel is considering resigning alongside of Dan Bongino.
Okay, so that was the report. It's not just Bongino's considering resigning. It's that Cash Patel is considering it as well. Well, here's Just the News, John Solomon with his report.
Is not true.
Not true.
My reporting makes very clear Cash Patel is going nowhere unless the president tries to move Cash Patel. He's there for the long haul. Why is that? Because the FBI has a major investigation that looks at the last 10 years of what happened to Donald Trump as one large conspiracy case. No one's going to give that opportunity up. Now, it is true that Dan Bongino is taking a few days to reconsider whether he wants to stay in the job. That's his decision. He's gone through these things before. There have been times when he's been on radio. He got mad, took a couple days off. I bet you he'll come back when it's all done. But Cash Patel is going nowhere. And I think next week, over the next 10 days, the base who's been wondering, where's all that accountability? They're going to get some big surprises over the next week concerning where the conspiracy began a few weeks before Crossfire Hurricane was open and when it ended, all the way in 2024, when they were still trying to pursue Donald Trump to keep him from winning the presidency. First, brother, we got a big live audience for you. There are reports out there tonight that Cash Patel is considering resigning along.
So that seems less likely. People, I mean, they're saying Matt Gaetz pulled from a Charlie Kirk event. Summoned D.C. by Trump. He won't be at the Student Action Summit. That's what it's called in D.C. Trump wants him in D.C. Is he being tapped as a special prosecutor? Okay, so maybe not to replace Bondi, but to be a prosecutor or attorney general. There's still time. Or do they have the same Epstein stuff over him? And at what point, let me ask this. Why would it do that instead of this? Okay. What are we doing? There we go. All right. At what point can we have a national apology project? OPP, how can I explain it? I'll take a frame, I'll frame it. What's that from? Well, that's not that simple, huh? The official, no, like the, what did I say? The National Apology Project? NAP? The National Apology Project. At what point can the implicated people raise their hand, come forward with what they have, and go, hey, man, I would love nothing more in life than to try to put that awful chapter of life behind me. You know, would you accept that or not? But you know, in return, are you going to sing? Are you going to like help bring it all down? Like, what's the step? What does that look like? So, I don't know. It's interesting to think about if you could have a national apology project and let people escape a worse fate by owning up to certain stuff. Instead. All right, let's talk about oppression cosplaying.
I've been noticing a new trend recently, shall we call it oppression cosplay, where people pretend to be from humble means or impoverished backgrounds. They pretend to be oppressed, all to get you to like and support them. They're kind of competing in the oppression Olympics, except they shouldn't even be there. I'm not falling for it, and neither should you.
So the third holy grail of taboos in American politics, you have socialism, you have Islam, and then you have Palestine. And you are really going for the trifecta. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Tell me, why is Palestine a part of your politics?
When you grow up as someone, especially in the third world, you have a very different understanding of the Palestinian struggle.
When you grow up as someone, especially in the third world, Zoran says as he eats his food with his fingers, which, hey, I'm not hating, I'm Nigerian, we do the same. But I have to look at that third world comment. Now, somebody else put out a tweet here. He says he grew up in the third world, but he was living in the United States, attending private school since he was 7 years old. That's not code switching, that's lying. He is a spoiled, privileged young man playing today's most popular parlor game, Look How Oppressed I Am. I've been noticing a new trend recently, shall we call it?
Yeah, the Oppression Olympics has been going on for a while. Gets a little old It's like, yeah, I get it. Sob story. I know it's all whatever, but can we just talk about today? What are we doing today? Moving forward, please. Anybody? Look at the similarities between Trump and Arthur. Deb referenced this. It reminds her of President Trump. Is the volume up all the way? Yes. There you go. That's when he tricks him. I can't play the full 30 seconds. I can get away with a couple of seconds, but I can't play the whole thing. But yes, fight, everybody. Trump gave us 3. He said, fight. Yeah, I sort of forgot about that movie. I haven't watched it in a long time. I'd probably be down to watch it again. But yeah, similarities for sure. If Gates steps on, I think that was the plan this whole time, says Nick. Yeah, but I mean, it would probably be as a special prosecutor, perhaps. Like maybe he's already like, Matt, you got too many hoochies, too much coochie in here. We can't wash that away. But we can keep you as a prosecutor. Just give us a minute. We'll get you going. Get you up with a talk show or something. And then you can come back like the hero. The kind of weirdly shaped head and strange hairdo. And that shit-eating grin that really just, we all kind of want to smack you, but we kind of like you, but mostly want to smack. Yeah, you got that face. What are you smirking at? I don't know. They said, sir, Gates, gay. Is he Gates or? Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Bondi must simply resign. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what she ends up doing. Nick says there's something about seeing law enforcement chased out of neighborhoods that gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling. I know that's just me. Yeah, I mean, the other thing is when you have just a couple of problem makers in a couple of locations, at a couple of units, in a couple of cars that are always causing problems all day, every day long, every day. You're also very happy when the day comes that is stopped. So everybody else can have their life back. There's a respect that is basically the cornerstone of what we're trying to do with a limited enforcement mechanism. It's like you're supposed to cause no harm to others. You're supposed to kind of get along as best you can under those scenarios. But yeah, I mean, I get it. But there's something great about getting rid of the bad guys too. That is for sure. Nick says to Deb, I think Gates turned it down because he knew how this was going to play out. They all did. Bondi is the sacrificial lamb. Perhaps. My Trump son's a little yacked up. What is yacked up? They said, sir, you're yakking. Never again. Ah! Or maybe they said the yak. Forrest Trump. Exasperated noise, they said. I don't know how to make you go yak. Yeah, that's exasperated. A yak. I know. The best way to do Trump is to do slow sniffing Trump. A lot of people said this. You've never seen anything like it. I know. It's like I have one little noise, and it's like Trump ramping up at a rally. You know, like I like that one little thing, but the other parts of Trump, I gotta maybe sit back and work on. I was reminded yesterday that I used to do a Kamala Harris impression. I forgot about it. This dude was doing all these impressions. Oh, a little yacked up, like almost like he did a shot of scorpion semen with Joe Rogan and RFK Jr. We call him Bobby. Said he's a little nuts with the environment, but go get him on the health and McDonald's and stuff. Make America happy again. Michael Schellenberger reporting. Whether Bondi, Cash, or Bongino stay or go, one thing is clear. The Trump administration must release the Epstein files. It's our God-given right to know. The issue has transcended partisanship, and neither the right nor left are moving on. Damn it, Michael Schellenberger. That sums it up. Do you agree or disagree with Michael Schellenberger? Oh no, I'm very aware. I've seen it. There's different ways to do Trump. I think Anomalies is a little nasalier. Kind of does it like that. A little more Italian, a little bit less gravelly, I know. No, I know exactly how AJ does that. It's okay. It's kind of a thing. I don't know. Not my cup of tea. Not how I would interpret it. I'd wrap it up. They said, sir, this guy over here, he's doing a different kind of Trump. Maybe a good Trump. No, a little less booger sugary, a little more. I don't know, Guido, can you say that? Do they watch The Sopranos anymore? If they were built a casino on that shithole of whatever that place is, East Coast, Vegas, never really made it. But yeah, that version of Trump, I mean, it gets me like here. I keep warning President Trump not to do that to his vocal cords. It's not a wise idea. But yeah, I think Schellenberger is right here. The left and right are not moving on, so it's time. This post says, this is the worst cover-up of my lifetime. If you can get away with this, you really can get away with anything. If the government can tell people to believe, if the government can tell people to not believe what they just said a few months ago and have everyone be fine with that, that's a next level of gaslighting that I refuse to be a part of. Never forget, they just promised us names in the release of the Epstein files. There's no evidence that the footage was manipulated deceptively, but it's clear the footage was manipulated. That means there is no clean chain of custody and we can't trust the product. AG Bondi still has yet to deliver on her promise to prove that all security videos are missing the last minute. And none of that is even to mention that the video does not show what Patel and Bongino claimed it shows. I mean, I think Anomalies, Trump, it's kind of a little choppy, kind of something in how does it, you know, it's got like a different cadence to it. It just kind of reminds me of like an Italian mobster. A little, yeah, forget about it. Yeah. You know, am I gonna, yeah, can I, yeah. A little higher pitched, a little different equalization. I did like Godfrey's Trump. He closed both shows with his Trump impersonation, or like right toward the end. If it wasn't the last thing, it was right toward the end. He does a great Trump, kind of a laid back Shane Gillis mixed with, I don't know, Godfrey. Godfrey had a lot of people say it's the laid back Trump that's going to be easier on the throat. And that is true. FBI Director Kash Patel told Joe Rogan, you're going to get the video of the cell and you're going to see for yourself. But we did not get to see a video of the cell because that's not what they released. To claim otherwise is to actively gaslight the public. This footage that they released and they hyped up and they said was on the biggest podcast platform in the world, Joe Rogan, was going to prove everything, but it proves nothing. And it actually raises more questions because it contradicts the official narrative that's been said, which is that everyone was in lockdown when they should have been, and no one could have possibly entered the cell block. But actually, someone did. Now they're saying that that's Epstein in a memo after hours for some mysterious reason. The night of his death. Why? No answers. But don't look into it. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're crazy. What? Bongino saying, we're going to give the original Epstein prison video so you don't think there were any shenanigans. Most charitable interpretation for putting the original into Premiere Pro is incompetence. That's a great take right there. All right.
This is America.
America has changed priorities, and we're trying to take care of the things that we need in our country so that look, that's smart. The stuff that you're going to need, you should be producing to the best of your ability. So here we go. The United States is pushing for independence from China and other countries where we need rare earth minerals. We keep hearing about it. They're important. So let's go get them, and let's do it the smartest, cleanest way that we can.
America answering the call. We've become too dependent on just simply critical minerals from countries overseas, most of all China. We have these materials here in the United States. We made it hard to permit mines. We made it hard to have industry in our country. And guess what? It left. Under President Trump's leadership, we're bringing it back to the United States, bringing it back right here in Wyoming, where we have two critical things together. Coal, the biggest source of electricity on the planet, and rare earth elements critical to our national security and our economic security. Thrilled to be here on this momentous day.
I mean, hey, the dude's excited, and come on, man. America needs the stuff that America needs. We got to fix our supply chains. We should have learned that during COVID. Leading report here, Trump says the Epstein files could destroy innocent people, Bill O'Reilly recently claimed per Newsweek. Yep, it would literally destabilize the world, says the conservative alternative. 2/3 of Congress and a large portion of the world's most powerful people would be imprisoned, which basically means society would at least partially collapse. Yes, your terms are acceptable. I want to see it come down. Suck it down, flush it down. Here we go.
The Democrats in the Biden administration had access to this, right? And if Trump was in it, this is like a piece of logic. If Trump was in it or connected, they would have used it against him. Like they used everything against him. They went after him for money. They went after him for, I mean, like the complete power of the justice system and any other system they had at their disposal, they used against Trump.
Unless your guys are also implicated.
I didn't consider that. I thought that Trump was clean from it because he had rallied against it so hard. He'd ran on it. All the people that he's hiring are people that are going after it and essentially promoting themselves on it, right? But there is a version where it's like, what is it? It's like a mutual assured destruction. So it is nukes on everybody. So therefore, they're like, we could go after Trump with this, but by exposing Trump as part of this thing, it might expose all the other people or confirm that it is an actual blackmail ring. And once it's confirmed that it is an actual blackmail ring, we got to see how far this goes.
Yeah. And it might not even implicate like Democrat politicians. Like it likely does, but it doesn't necessarily need to, because by our guys, you could just mean the U.S. government.
Yes. The intelligence community is involved in it. Okay.
I think it's either U.S. government or rich donors.
There's a version of...
So we're all trying to unpack it. The Real State of America reporting that the Department of Justice ended its investigation into Pfizer for possible bribery after Pam Bondi, who previously worked as a consultant for Pfizer, was appointed the Attorney General. Is she just a fixer? Is she just the wolf from Pulp Fiction? If self-preservation is an instinct that you possess, you'll do what I say when I say. My help's not needed, gentlemen. Best of luck. So pretty please with sugar on top. Clean the fucking car. Clean the fuck. I don't do a Harvey Keitel. I'd have to listen to him a couple more times.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files. Let the American people decide.
Put them out there, because if there's nothing in there, then we can see there's nothing in there. Now listen, people who are truly conspiratorial, who will just never believe anything other than Jeffrey was murdered and there's a ring of pedophiles, they won't be satisfied, and that's fine. You're entitled to believe that. That's fine. You're entitled to your own beliefs. However, some percentage of skeptics will at least give them credit for opening the files. And we could have a situation where they open the files and Dan and Cash stand there and say, I don't know what was taken out of here before we got here. You know, it's possible that those files are rather disappointing and they're not to blame. I don't know. Or it's possible, I just got to say this for the record, it's also possible that Jeffrey Epstein was an absolutely disgusting predator who loved just the barely legal types and did take advantage of them and didn't actually farm a bunch of girls out to a bunch of men. It's possible. And I'll say this on it. I know somebody very close to the case, so I trust implicitly. And that person has told me from the beginning that that's what happened. That Epstein was very into the girls who looked like 13, but he knew he had to hire the ones who were like 17, 18 to come in and give him massages that had the so-called happy ending. And that was really his thing. And there are over 1,000 of those.
No, I get that. But I think what people want to.
I mean, did you all get that? Like, you got that?
No. Is what other powerful people were involved?
Yeah, we've heard all the names who went to Epstein Island. Who went to Epstein Islands? Who specifically went on the plane? Who stayed for more than a night? Like, that's what Alan Dershowitz is saying, and he's so right about this. He was dragged through the mud by that Virginia Giuffre.
And he won his case.
He did not molest Virginia Giuffre. It was a lie, okay? And I've done this in depth, the study of this. His name was suggested to her by somebody who thought she'd sell more books if she named a famous guy, and it was suggested to her, how about Alan, who Jeffrey knew because Alan represented him when he got arrested for transportation of a minor in prostitution. And Alan, he did represent Epstein. That's not great. He represented OJ. Isn't that worse? Like, that's what criminal defense attorneys do. I don't judge it. We need them. We need them to kick.
That's a fair point. That's what criminal defense attorneys do. Wasn't it John Adams? And I mean, it was super important that even the worst people get a solid defense. Like, we're all entitled to have a presumption of innocence. If there's a strong case, then you got to make a strong case. This shouldn't be willy-nilly but in order to do that, you have to allow prosecutors to be prosecutors, right? That's fair. That's true.
The tires on the system. So in any event, that's how he knew Jeffrey. They weren't buddies. He wasn't like Bill Clinton palling around with him everywhere. So she got accused. She accused him unfairly. But he is saying now he thinks the entire files should be opened, even if other men like Alan get swept up into like a web of like, you did it, and then let them rehabilitate themselves the way he did. Let them show the evidence of, I actually wasn't even in the country when I got accused. I was at a different place. I was at work. I'm on camera at the Starbucks, whatever. But why not? Given the amount of like smoke around this fire, why not just open the files?
I think every file should be released to the public.
We have to pick which side we're going to deal with, and just nobody's. Nobody's believing whatever these stories are. Deb saying, I'm so sick of the excuses. I ran on it. Yes, that was the thing I ran. What about testimony from Ghislaine Maxwell that indicted her and some of those girls were offed? Yeah, Virginia, what was it, Roberts, Guffrey, I don't know. I've heard that. I've heard Ghislaine Maxwell, Ghislaine, Guffrey, Jeffrey, different versions of that. There's several names that are weird to say, and it's like, not even that they're weird to say, it's just like, what is the settled upon pronunciation? There was Kamala and Kamala. They said, sir, you're being accused of being an asshole. Kamala. That was always one of my favorite phrases to do as Trump. Kamala. Yeah, the evidence was enough to find Maxwell's been found guilty of trafficking nobody to nobody. There's no punishment phase. And that's just, burden of proof is key. So they had proof or Maxwell wouldn't be sitting in prison, allegedly. Ghislaine Maxwell? Yes, Ghislaine. Virginia Godfrey, the comedian.
Public the same way as the JFK files.
Yeah, just release this like JFK. Like, let's just see it all. Cards up, everybody. Cards up. Flip them. We're all in. Go. No. I'm still playing this game. No, you're not. No, you're not. Like, that is not an option for you. So cards up. Flip them. That's kind of where we're at as a nation.
Let the American people decide.
Put them out there, because if there's nothing in there, then we can see there's nothing in there. Now listen, people who are truly conspiratorial, who will just never believe anything other than Jeffrey was murdered and there's a ring of pedophiles, they won't be satisfied, and that's fine. You're entitled to believe that. That's fine. You're entitled to your own beliefs. However, some percentage of skeptics will at least give them credit for opening the files. And we could have a situation where they open the files and Dan and Cash stand there and say, I don't know what was taken out of here before we got here. You know, it's possible that those files are rather disappointing and they're not to blame. I don't know. Or it's possible, I just got to say this for the record, it's also possible that Jeffrey Epstein was an absolutely disgusting.
Okay, I think this file replayed. It's doing that Instagram trick where I can't quite tell. All right, let me buzz through our X feed, see if there's any stories that you want me to talk about. There we go. Right there on X. I guess I got to do it like this. That is our interview with John B. Wells, and it's our Patreon link. If you have not subscribed, please consider signing up to be a monthly member. Thank you to Nick. Yes, I just saw that. Clicked over. More subscribers. Tell your friends. Invite all the cool kids to hang out here. This is the cool lunch table where we get to talk about cool stuff. We do this around lunch. Hey, it could be the dinner table too later if I have to shift this to the evenings. But it's where the cool kids get together and talk about the stories. George Bahezi tweets, says there's still time to make Matt Gaetz the Attorney General. Well, let's take a listen.
And when it comes to how those raise money, I take no lecture on asking patriotic Americans to weigh in and contribute to this fight from those who would grovel and bend knee for the lobbyists and special interests who own our leadership, who have, boo all you want, who have hollowed out this town and have borrowed against the future of our future generations. I'll be happy to fund my political operation through the work of hardworking Americans, $10 and $20 and $30 at a time, and you all keep showing up at the lobbyist fundraisers and see how that goes for you. I reserve. And when it comes...
And look, he's right there yelling at the group who's getting fat and wealthy off of the system, and he's like, fuck your system. People don't like when you rock the boat. Sometimes that boat needs to get rocked. And I think that's part of the reason why Trevor Bauer, falsely accused Trevor Bauer, he's been blackballed from baseball. He called baseball out with the Houston Astros cheating scandal and all sorts of things. And he was putting out alternative content that was frankly more interesting than a baseball game. And they just had enough of his crap and they kicked him out of the club. It's like he's not allowed to be there or work there. So, yeah, Matt Gaetz kind of got kicked out because it's like, hey, either play ball, kid, or we're going to get rid of you, You're not bigger than this system that we built. Don't you know? And it's like, Gaetz has balls. Yeah, he does. So, sometimes you got to, look, cards up. Everyone, cards up. No, I want to keep playing. No. Cards up. That's not an option. So, yeah, this was it. These reports just going around that Gaetz is pulled from a Charlie Kirk event, summoned to D.C. by Trump. Maybe. Gaetz won't be at Student Action Summit today. Trump wants him D.C. I don't know. Maybe. All right, here's Nick Adams. Follow Nick Adams. There you go. Nick Adams, 164117, I think. Oh, and I can't follow back. I have to do an unfollowing thing. I'm upside down on my account a little bit, so I can't follow back. But I would. High Impact Flicks. I don't know this account. 97,000 followers. Okay. High Impact Flicks. Those who need rulers are unfit to choose them for others. He says, ICE, the current standing army our founders warned us about, is acting like a bunch of thugs, pushing hardworking people to the breaking point, stealing family members, tear gassing protesters. Then, when powerless people fight back with their limited resources, get orders justifying the further use of force. They're not going after MS-13 because gun battles are too dangerous for those brave, fully masked ICE agents. So ICE goes after the low-hanging fruit, while poor people are literally picking our fruit. That was in response to this. Which one resonates with you more? The Trump message says, I'm on my way back from Texas and watched in disbelief as thugs were violently throwing rocks and bricks at ICE officers while they were moving down a roadway in their car and or official vehicle. Tremendous damage was done to these brand new vehicles. I know for a fact that these officers are having a hard time with allowing this to happen. Yes, I've been seeing that over and over again. In every video that shows increasing violence is encouraging more people to do it. So if you just arrest the people that are doing that stuff, you would have less violence. And that dude allegedly had a gun out, shooting a gun. Unconfirmed. It looks like that's what he was doing. Yeah, and I want to make sure that, like, do these guys have business cards or something that says, I'm Agent 1171 and we're conducting Operation CB 4527. Here's the website. Here's the phone number. Here's the app. Here's how you log in, create an account, CBP1 or this and that. Here's how, like, I don't like a lack of information being given. But like I said, like with the purple card, I mean, how do people raise their hand and go, look, I'm here. I don't want to cause a problem. Run a background check on me and I'd like to stay. And if you haven't done that, then, you know, you're escorted out of the nightclub. I don't want to see anything cruel or unusual at this point. No, I don't want to see the guy roughed up in any way. Nope. Zero. I don't want that. So it's like, we got to be careful when we are talking about the policies that we're advocating for and the things that are just abhorrent. I think we all have a right to kind of clearly define exactly what it is we're talking about. Not be like, no, you're either for this or you're against this. That was the Bush policy. You know, I haven't done a Bush in a while either. Nick says, I don't 100% agree with the post, but I wanted your take on it. High Impact Flicks is Here's the Deal on YouTube, a police accountability channel. Yeah, and I had this ongoing conversation with my libertarian buddy about how, no, you can't stop somebody for suspicion of a crime. I said, yeah, you can. Well, no, what's the suspicion of the crime that he committed? No. You're using the trick of saying past tense. By what reasonable suspicion do you believe? And we went back and forth about past tense and current and about to, are you casing a neighborhood? Are you prowling? Profiling? Are you dealing? What are you? You've been reported as suspicious in a neighborhood that's had an increasing amount of home invasions and burglaries. The community members reported something suspicious over here. Yeah, well, what evidence do you have that I already committed a crime? No. It's not that you already have committed a crime. It's just we're trying to ascertain what's going on. For what purpose are you lurking around these vehicles and taking pictures of stuff? He's like, well, I'm a journalist. It was this one little video. And we just had this conversation back and forth. It's like, well, do you get to investigate who's in this neighborhood and why? Well, no, not without reasonable suspicion. Oh, so you're okay with him sticking a finger up your butt? I'm like, we're taking this to... No, he doesn't have to prove who he is. He doesn't have to aid you in your investigation. Yes, he was just detained. For what? There was no evidence. Suspicious activity. Suspicious activity is not a crime. Okay. So are you saying that your main complaint is that you said, hello, my name's Officer such and such. We're going to detain you for a moment here. for suspicious activity in relation to drug distribution and casing burglary issues plaguing this community. And we'd like to identify you and ascertain the reason for your visit today. So are you saying you'd be okay with the stop if they just said those words differently or said them at all? So when I get talking to libertarians, sometimes it's like, no, I didn't say it. So they still, I go, so you're still saying, you're just using a fake excuse for why nobody should be able to, because look, it's either vigilantes that are going to go door to door and take care of every problem in their neighborhood, or they're going to outsource it to the police, and they're going to work with the communities to try to eliminate any sort of violence or theft or horrible shit from happening. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's what we're trying to do is figure out where's the line. Stop and frisk. If you're lurking, don't be twerking. It's the policy of truth. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Never again was what you swore the time before. Frankly, I don't know what the hell he did there. Turn into James Hetfield like the roaring lion at the beginning of the MGM. MAGA, that's MGM, MAGA, MGA, MAGA, MGM, I don't know. Never again. So President Trump says, I know for a fact that these officers are having a hard time with allowing this to happen, in that it shows such total disrespect for law and order. Therefore, I'm directing Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and Border Czar Tom Homan to instruct all ICE, Homeland Security, or any other law enforcement officer who is on the receiving end of thrown rocks, bricks, or any other form of assault to stop their car and arrest these slime balls using whatever means is necessary to do so. I'm giving total authorization for ICE to protect itself just like they protect the public. Damn. That's a decent reframe. I never want to see a car carrying law enforcement officer attacked again. Authorization immediately granted for the arrest and incarceration. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yeah, the reason you watched America Burn is because you didn't watch those rioters get arrested. All you needed was a few videos and you would have been able to maybe calm down some of the stuff that was going on during 2020. In the season. Thanks, Deb. I still don't, I can't hum the song exactly. I really feel like it was just in the back of like a Volvo commercial or something for XYZ checking account. In the season. But I don't know if I've ever sat and listened to the song completely from front to back. Maybe I have. I don't know. But yeah, here you go.
They were children. It was.
Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass starting to think they're lying. How many children do you see frolicking and playing in MacArthur Park where they're like, oh, ICE is here?
Frankly, it is outrageous and un-American that we have federal armed vehicles in our parks when nothing is going on in the parks.
Nothing is going on in the parks. Have you been to MacArthur Park? I was there. Go back. If you go back to the very beginning of the New American Media, one of the first things we did was go to MacArthur Park in downtown Los Angeles. I don't know if it was a May Day thing. I think it was an Occupy Los Angeles event. That was when they were trying to figure out, like, all right, how do we take these, like, I think it was before BLM, before they went nationwide. They tried with Occupy New York, but there was like Occupy LA and Occupy here, Occupy there. But BLM was just BLM everywhere. And then Antifa, like trying to brand these movements. But yeah, the New American Media went there and were interviewing communists and all sorts of stuff going on. Zombies, dude. Zombies.
Said, I've got to go. I said, what's going on, Mayor? She goes, well, something's going on in MacArthur Park. MacArthur Park is this beautiful park downtown, near downtown Los Angeles.
What happened to the criminals, the drug dealers, the violent individuals who were in the park today were children. It was their summer camp, their summer day camp.
No, these are. I mean, are all these videos from MacArthur Park? They appear to be.
Frankly, it is outrageous and
So they're lying to you. They got a big problem. And Adam says, yeah, Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass are lying. That's all they do is lie. Jay Plemons puts this clip of Scott Adams out asking, have you noticed how fast Democrats dropped their top priorities? They realize climate change, woke identity politics, trans issues, DEI, and pro-immigrant policies aren't winning Americans over, and calling Trump Hitler became a joke. So now they're stitching together a Frankenstein monster of affordability, Bernie's oligarchy tour, and a rebranding Trump as an authoritarian. Doesn't it tell you that the entire Democrat Party got everything wrong because they abandoned sort of everything? It's a good point. Check that out. Andy No reports a federal liberal Oregon judge, Stacey F. Beckerman, ordered that a Trantifa firebomber and a shooting suspect be released from jail ahead of trial. DOJ appealed, but a second liberal judge, Adrian Nelson, sided with the first judge. Check out that story. Violent firebombers. Stephen Miller says that a communist judge in Los Angeles ordered ICE to report directly to her and the radical left NGOs, not the president. This is another act of insurrection against the United States and its sovereign people. Biden appointed Judge Maame Iwusai hashtag Mensa Frimpong. All right, there's your I've been talking about the four named people. I asked you to tell me any 6-syllabled words that we spoke today. I haven't received any comment that we have found any of them. But yeah, the dreaded four named individual with hyphens sometimes. So many arrest stories with the four names. It used to be 3 names were like serial killers and assassins. And then 4 names is like the people being raided in ICE and 3 times deported. 4 named people. This person just made a ruling that marks Home Depot's, car washes, and other locations where illegals hide as safe havens in Los Angeles, blocking ICE from making arrests at those locations. Yeah, I don't think that is going to fly. We're talking about AI and why people are concerned about it. Well, just sum it up real quick.
I talked to a guy, he's the top guy. He was a successful Silicon Valley entrepreneur.
James Reichertz, editor, Strategic Intelligence.
Started and sold companies, but he was also the head of the CIA's technology venture capital firm that was on the cutting edge of whatever the CIA was doing in Silicon Valley. So he has a foot in Silicon Valley and a foot in the CIA. Probably nobody knows more.
Okay. It must be that song. What's your name? What's your name? Who's your daddy? In the season. But I actually kind of forget that transition there. Like, how does that fade and do the transition? Yes, the zombies. All right, cool. Jonathan Taylor Thomas is probably an assassin. All right, funny.
About what we're talking about. And what he said to me was, Jim, we know what's out there. We kind of know what's coming. He said,
Silicon Valley AI.
What you don't know is the stuff, what he used the phrase behind the curtain, the stuff that the developers themselves are afraid to release because they can't control it. There are no guardrails. And you went down a list of people. You said, well, the people are not in charge. The Congress is not in charge, et cetera. And you said a small clique in Silicon Valley are in charge. My point is they're not in charge either. They are financially in charge and technologically in charge, but they can't control what they're doing. So there's stuff coming that's exponentially more powerful than anything we've seen. And there are zero guardrails. People have they admit they don't know how it works, but it's much more powerful than what's out there. There are absolutely no guardrails.
No guardrails. So we're running really fast toward this. Here's this victim that I just noted was really, kind of felt giving us a very exasperated performance. Not to say I don't believe her, but here's the Epstein victim responding to the case being closed and revealing information about the island. Epstein told me he worked with the CIA. I saw him shapeshift into something else in front of my eyes. 18 minutes. Check that clip out. It's on our X feed. Full unredacted Epstein flight log. Nah, I doubt it. At Grok, can we debunk or bunk these claims? There we go. Debunk or bunk.
What they actually,
Tucker.
if you deny people what they actually want long enough and instead substitute things that you claim they should want, like bombing Iran, you know, I mean, I'm not for Iran, where you spend all day telling me that it's so important that, you know, boys not playing girls soccer teams, whatever. I agree. I hate the tranny stuff passionately. I think you should keep the boys off girls soccer teams. But I don't know. It kind of feels like you're feeding me appetizers. At some point, I want to look around and see a better country. I want to see a country I recognize. I don't want to see people sleeping on the sidewalk. I don't want to see people ODing on drugs. I want to know where those drugs coming from. Why can't you stop it? You've got the U.S. military. Don't you have SEAL Team 6? Like, what are they doing today? Don't you have Delta Force? You could give me another.
Uh-huh. So you watch the person that brings it into the areas that the people are doing it, and you work your way back the supply chain, and you deal with it. Once again, everybody flip your cards up. We're doing a renegotiation. No. We got a system in place. No. We're fully aware of the system you have in place, and it's fucked up. Cards up, everyone. Hands up, cards up. You're poisoning us in the fucking streets. You're stealing from us at every turn. You're trying to invade this place and change it into something we don't want to be. Hands up.
Another segment about how impressive the U.S. military is? I believe you. Why aren't they employed to make my country better? Why are my cities disgusting? I don't want to go there. It smells like weed and halal food. And you're lecturing me about
halal food. Not just weed and halal food, weed and urine. Like these cities have like they need a massive power washing, and they need to have some sort of public facilities so people can duck in and use a restroom. And maybe when people are arrested, instead of throwing them in a cage, it's their job to go around and clean these disgusting places and talk to the people here and say, hey, I'm working off a thing here. Can you not make a mess in there? You try to rehabilitate these people and fix your cities. But man, these cities need a power washing. Austin has turned to shit. So disappointing. I hadn't been there in a long time, and ugh.
how it's a great moral victory that I kicked the boys off the girls' soccer team. Good, I'm so glad. But let's do the real stuff, like making New York livable and create an economy where my kids can have kids. How about this? How about we just make the measure really super simple? Can my children have without the benefit of like the great luck I have had, can they have a roughly approximate life that I had? Or how about just a middle-class life? Can they like get married young, as I did, and like have 4 kids and, you know, take a couple jobs, work hard and all that stuff? But in the end, it's like, fine. Can they do that? Or is that like so remote a possibility that you need to tell me that Iran is the real threat? Take my mind off the fact that you stole all the money and screwed up my country beyond recognition.
I mean, we're screaming this from the rooftops. Sean Ryan, Gavin Newsom.
You know, the state can come in and basically take your kid if you're against gender affirming care.
There's some nuanced language and around that.
You know.
Wow. I don't know how edited that moment was, but yeah, there's some begins playing the piano. Yeah, there is some nuanced language in there. Yeah, around that. The state can basically come in and take your kid if you're against unnecessary genital mutilation. They call it gender affirming care. You shouldn't say that. Unnecessary genital mutilation. No, like, we're good. Let this human live to 18 and they can do whatever it is they want to do at 18. They might deeply regret me going down the path of doing, well, they might regret you not letting them go. And just think, what if they'd be likely to hurt themselves if they don't do this? No. They are currently suffering from gender dysphoria disorder. It's in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. It is a mental condition where you believe yourself to be in a body of something that you're not. You are what you are. That demographic has a very high self-harm rate due to the problem of dealing with the gender dysphoria that they're experiencing on a daily basis. They can have sexual feelings toward whoever they want, a guy or a girl or whatever. They could prefer dressing a certain way. That's fine, but like permanently messing with the biology and chopping off parts and expecting other people to pay for it, and the lifetime of cleaning and care, and you can never have an orgasm again, and it might mess up your plumbing where you can't. I mean, it could create a lot of like, if you choose to do that as a fully developed adult at the age of 18, I guess we'll let you do it at that point. But you got to protect the kids from Munchausen mommies and creepy groomer doctors that are trying to make a few $100,000 extra bucks this year to take another vacation. Like, no, you got to protect the kids. And when they're an adult, let them be their adult thing. But California and setting it up where you can take your kid if you're against a kid mangling themselves unnecessarily, like, that's not okay. That's a non-starter. Rasmussen report says, quotes Sean Davis, the Epstein case isn't just another random story that people are focused on. It's a proxy for whether the Trump Department of Justice has what it takes to hold the deep state accountable across the board. And people are rightfully concerned about the Department of Justice's competence, given how it has handled the Epstein mess this year. Bondi's handling of the case thus far has been a disaster across the board, from the stupid binder and its idiotic rollout to the memo over the last week. I can tell you for a fact the FBI is in open revolt over her mishandling of the case, and the top officials have grave concerns that her lack of judgment is not just limited to this particular case. There is no confidence in her ability to do what needs to be done, and a firm belief that the Department of Justice under command is not equipped to handle a number of other major cases and investigations already in the works. Public Opinion 101. If you don't take a 67% all voters issue and try to dispose of it like a dirty diaper in the nighttime. We don't publish our overnights, but we'll make an exception here for the sole benefit of our readers. Patel, Bongino, Dylan. Lots of disapproval over this. 67% of likely voters result. Results on election fraud and Epstein scandal should be released, voters say. Yeah, they must. They just must. Kentucky school board chairman has resigned after calling for people to shoot Republicans on social media. There's the picture of that. Ooh, Kentucky school board chairman has resigned. Is that strong enough? Should they face charges? Here's Alex Jones telling you about the Macron scandal.
There's a penis there. It's a pee-pee. 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 There's a penis there. It's a pee-pee.
So this is a story that's just not going away. Women who claim Brigitte Macron was born a man have been cleared of defamation in a Paris court, but that doesn't mean they're confirmed right, although, I mean, I think it's becoming as obvious as possible that that's possible. But they said that they're allowed to say it. That it didn't say that they're accurate or that they proved it. It's just that they're allowed to say it. Listen to what these firefighters and journalists had to say. As we look backward to when everything went wrong, you could probably say September 11th is maybe when we went most wrong. Volume?
The chief of safety, as I said, chief safety of the fire department of New York City, told me that shortly after 9 o'clock, he had roughly 10 alarms, roughly 200 men in the building trying to effect rescues of some of those civilians who were in there. and that basically he received word of the possibility of a secondary device, that is another bomb going off. He tried to get his men out as quickly as he could, but he said that there was another explosion which took place. And then an hour after the first hit here, with the first crash that took place, he said, there was another explosion that took place in one of the towers here.
Look at the amount of spending. Look at the graph that Elon Musk has put out. When did that spending go hyperbolic? Parabolic, rather? I mean, both are perfect, but I think parabolic is specifically what I'm talking about. September 11th, 2001. We've been a mess ever since.
So obviously, according to his theory, he thinks that there were actually devices that were planted in the building.
There was a secondary explosion, probably a device either planted before or on the aircraft that did not explode until an hour later.
Or on the aircraft that didn't explode until an hour later. So there's a possibility. But that's what was reported at the time. Don't forget that. That's Richard Gage, architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth. Roger Stone reminding us that there's that phrase, let's just say Bill Clinton, owes me a favor, Jeffrey Epstein. I forget which deposition or quotation that was taken from, but you've maybe seen that as we look backward to Bush and Clinton. Remember the Powell and Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve made a rate cut before the 24 election to help Kamala Harris? But now they're openly, stridently resisting any rate cuts as Trump lures them into the open. What if the foreign-owned central bank that sets and controls U.S. monetary policy doesn't seek the best for our country? Here's a thread about that. What if the bad guys are going to lose? Maybe. Well, I got other stories, but that's the amount that I'm going to share with you today. Thank you all for joining. It's been a blast unpacking the afternoon information. We'll see. We'll see what happens on Monday. We'll be back on Monday. See what happens with Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, Matt Gaetz. How is this going to shake out? We'll see in the next episode of this fantastic soap opera we call America, we call our lives. Thank you all for watching. At the bottom here, yes, Nick signed up on our Patreon account. Thank you, Nick. And to everyone else who signed up, we're on Patreon at the New American Media. We have a tip jar. If you like what's going on, we are at BrianEngelman. That would be on Venmo and Cash App. And then on PayPal, fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. Fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com on PayPal. Those are our tip jars. So thank you to viewers like you. Putting this program together is a blast. Unpacking it is always a good time. Go out there and have the best Saturday you can have. Go out and have the best Saturday, as grand as you wish. I've used a couple catchphrases from my cousin today. Miss you, cuz. See you on the other side. All right. Everybody out there in the TNAM universe, I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.